look like a gardener to you. I am a better, I am not a gardener. Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow?
With plus money.
With plus money. Hedging is for gardens.
Well, welcome in, everyone. It is Betting Weekly Live, and it's a special BetCast edition with myself, Steve Wiss, and Nigel Seeley. I mean, we've never seen anything like this before, Nigel. 18 matches and the Champions League kicking off at exactly the same time. It's going to be absolute mayhem, but we're here for the ride, so let's enjoy it.
Yeah, good evening to you, Steve. Good everybody watching. It's our first subscriber-only night, so thank you very much for everyone subscribing, enjoying this in what is it's going to be history. It could be an incredible night. I mean, I was just saying to you off air there, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, we've seen final days of Premier League matches where there's been 10 matches go off at the same time. We've seen big swings going on in big matches. You know, famously when Manchester City won the Premier League title in the last kick of the game against Queen's Park Rangers. But we've never seen nothing like this. And what really is interesting tonight more than ever is out of 36 teams playing in this evening, 24 of them have got something to play for. And, you know, how if you like this new format or you don't like this new format, the one thing you can't get away from is it's set up for this evening, which is going to be an incredible night. 18 matches, going to try to keep across all of them. That's going to be very difficult, but we'll do our best and give you the best in running betting and the best pre-match advice and the team news and all the market movers from BetRivers.
Yeah, welcome in, everyone. Harry, Duncan, Patriots as well, and Gator fan. Adam, put your best bets in for today. What are you taking? It's a huge night in the Champions League, and I think, first of all, let's just put up the table. Lovely looking table. Our graphics man, John.
Look at this, what he's done.
Beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely.
Why can he do it? Beautiful. How can he do this for this special and not do this all season?
He brings it out for the big one. Now, the top 8, that's where everyone's trying to get in. If you finish in the top 8, you bypass the playoff round, you get an 8 million bonus as well. So that will help a lot of teams out. So obviously, right on the cusp there, Aston Villa in 9th place. They're only 1 goal away from getting into the top 8. So I think that's a great place to start. Aston Villa against Celtic is a match here. Villa are the favourites, unsurprisingly. Plenty of motivation for them here, Nigel. I mean, do you expect them to beat Celtic? Celtic, really, I mean, minus 195 Villa, by the way, so not much has changed there. Celtic don't really have that much to play for here. The chances of them getting in the top 8 are minimal, but it is the Battle of Britain. They'll be up for it. Would you be putting your hard-earned on Villa at minus 195 on the money line?
I wouldn't. No, to answer that question is no. I mean, they've come into this match, obviously, with Duran, obviously been linked with a move away. And the breaking news in the last couple of hours is Ollie Watkins has been linked with a move to Arsenal. So that's not ideal preparation ahead of this match. Celtic have had an extra week rest. Their match last week was postponed. But in recent matches between the British clubs, it's the English teams that have always done better. You know, 5 wins of the last 7 in these English against Scotland clashes. So that is the advantage. They are the Premier League side. They have got the motivation, money, huge money. Like say, 8 million quid if they finish in the top 8, and 800 grand if they don't finish in the top 8. Sorry, 9 million quid. So that's a big difference. They're playing for 8 million quid tonight, Aston Villa, which might not sound. It might be a left foot of Ollie Watkins, but it's a big night. I think tonight the strategy for me is I've gone through a lot of these matches, and I think there's a lot of question marks, a lot of heavy minus money favourites. We got certain things happening tonight. You know, you've got to put your head in the way that the players are motivated, players who need wins, players who don't win. I think you've got to look at the form. I think you've got to look at the money for the lesser clubs as well. So the bets for me pre-match are pretty null. I haven't really got any opinion really on the pre-match, but in play, when goals go in, they might not look they're important, but in other matches, it changes the complex of how that game's going to play out. So all of my betting tonight is going to be done in play. But that match there, you would expect Aston Villa to come through. It was quite high. But who would have thought Aston Villa, the way they started off this campaign, that great night against Bayern Munich at home, 3 successive wins at the beginning, would have been leaving it to the last match to cement their place in the top 8. They were top of the table at their early stage. Their form's dropped a little bit. Really disappointing against Monaco. They should win, but at that price, I wouldn't bet them though.
Now, on this show, we've actually got some Bet Rivers merchandise to give out. And there's going to be 3 opportunities for this. And the first one here, I'm going to ask a question. Whoever comes up with the right answer first in chat will get the bit of merchandise. And the question is, what is the most wagered on Champions League match on Bet Rivers today out of the 18 games? Put down what match you think is the most wagered game, which has got the biggest handle so far, and you will be a winner. So, put that in chat. Going back to this table, I do have 3 pre-match bets, actually, and one of them is regarding Leverkusen. They're in 8th place. Obviously, if they win the game, they should finish in the top 8. Not guaranteed, though, because, Villa could win 5-0 and they would win 1-0, and it's not completely that simple for Leverkusen. But they are against Sparta Prague in this match here, and I really like the... we can just Leverkusen there. They're minus 1,000 on the actual money line. Sparta Prague 20-1 shot. I really like the first half Asian handicap on by Leverkusen at minus 125. This worked for me last week when I did the Real Madrid match, and I just think they're the sort of team who will steamroll the Sparta Prague in the first half. Sparta Prague coming off a winter break. Leverkusen can get the job done early here, get themselves 2 or 3-0 up by half time, and at that stage it will probably look pretty good for them, won't it? And in the second half, they can control the situation, what they want to do. They had a very similar match before Christmas against Salzburg. It was 3-0 at the interval there. They went on to win 5-0. I really like that first half Asian handicap on Bayer Leverkusen.
It's a quite interesting one. I mean, Leverkusen on another side, a bit like Aston Villa, started off really well. Would have thought they've gone into top 8. Their form has dipped a little bit. They should be too strong for Sparta Prague this evening. But the one thing, I've got a strategy tonight, and it's a little bit against your bet there. And I think because there's so many teams who've got something to play for, and because I think the first halves are going to be quite cagey, sussing out. I mean, there'll be games. Obviously, there's going to be games where there's going to be very heavy goals. I mean, Bayern Munich, for example, could be 4-0 up at halftime pretty easily. But I got a feeling that the second halves are going to explode here. I think there's going to be goals all over the place in the second half. So my pre-match strategy in a lot of these matches, looking at the second half to get the most goals in some matches, I think that's a really, really good strategy, because a lot of these teams were going to be out of the competition and just try to go forward and get a goal and end with a high. And I think a lot of teams obviously will need to go and get goals to force their way into the 24 or the top 8 or the knockout stages. So I've got a feeling that the action in the second half this evening is going to be absolutely insane. I think that because, and just obviously statistically, the last match in the old format of the Champions League, in the old group stages, was renowned for having so many goals. You see a lot of 3.5 goal lines here. But now, with 24 places up for grabs, there's 24 sides who have got something to play for. There's hardly a dead rubber. And I think as the matches go on throughout the night, the second half's become more and more important. So if you're looking at a little parlay, certain sides, team matches to have most goals in the second half than the first half. I think, this game's I think going to be quite cagey at the beginning, but I'm going to go with you on that one, Steve. But my rule of thumb tonight is that the second half is definitely going to be where it's at. And before you ask, this isn't vodka, this is water.
I don't disagree actually with that. I think that may well happen. We've got an actual Bet Rivers special, over 65.5 total goals scored at plus 220. Do you like that one, Nigel? I don't think under is an option to be bet on that, but over 65.5 at plus 220. I think that might be a generous line, actually.
I wish they updated it. I wish they updated it in running. I'll be playing it at half time, that's for sure. Pre-match, I think it sounds a big number, doesn't it? It really does sound a big number, but there's so many heavy. I mean, Bayern Munich are 4-goal favourites on their own. The total goal line is there is for 5. I mean, you've got Leverkusen as a 2.5-goal favourite. You've got some big favourites. What's the line again?
65.5.
I've got to go under.
I knew you.
I've got to go under. I think tonight, total goals tonight across all the matches. I'll make you a line. You can bet with me over or under. I'll be 62.5. You want to go over 62.5?
That's a tough one. That is a really tough one. That is.
I'll go under 62.5, and you can have over 62.5.
I don't know if I want over yet, but let's just talk about a bit of team news, because obviously the big talking point and the most wagered on game of the day there He's won the prize there, Guardian JH. It is on the Liverpool game. 12% of all the handle is on this match, and I think mostly it's because Liverpool have basically reeled out a complete second string side in many ways. I'm just going to reel through the Liverpool 11 here. In goal, we've got Kelleher, Tsimikas, Robertson, Quansah, Bradley, Elliott, Endo, McConnell. I actually know who McConnell is. No offence to the lad. Gakpo is starting. Maybe that is because it's against former club. Just a little bit of a thing there. Dan's up front, and Chiesa gets a start as well. PSV were plus a quarter of a ball underdog heading into the week. They're now minus a quarter of a goal favourite. So, I mean, is that fair? Can you see why people are coming in for PSV here? And how bad will this Liverpool second string play? Will they even care?
Well, I've seen Liverpool second string teams play and gone on to win cup competitions in the UK. Whoever goes on in England, whoever goes onto the pitch for Liverpool will always put that badge on and play a performance. So, and you've got a team there that want to finish top of it. You know, there's obviously some connection with Slot, obviously being the former manager of Feyenoord up against PSV, which are his arch rivals. So you would expect Liverpool to put in a performance, but you can understand why there has been money for the Dutch side in the build up to this, because the team news has pretty much been leaked for the last 24 hours. Everyone sort of knew that this was happening. The market move has been coming throughout the day, throughout yesterday. But away from the market move, have you seen PSV's home record? It's unbelievable.
Well, it's exceptional. Yeah,
they've lost one of their last 53 home matches at home in all competitions. Obviously, the Dutch league isn't a great standard of league. There's only probably three: Feyenoord, Ajax, and PSV. But in Europe, they're on a 10-match unbeaten home run, 6 wins and 4 draws. So, but I've seen Liverpool sides come out before, put out the kids before. And the goalkeeper, Kelleher, is probably one of the best understudy goalkeepers in world football. And they're a proud side who want to top the group. And I think if you got the early move on PSV, yeah, you've done exceptionally well and you've got a good bet. But where they stand now, I mean, what's the line now? What's the latest with Bet Rivers? The latest on Bet Rivers now. See, this is the other thing. Usually when I'm looking at football matches, it's very easy to find the price. And now with 18 matches, it's virtually impossible. And PSV are now plus 128. Liverpool are out to plus 210 and the ties plus 240. I mean, now it becomes a handicap play where Liverpool perhaps could be some kind of value at that price. I think if you've got on early and took the good price, great. But at the moment, I wouldn't be rushing.
PSV have actually got their top scorer, Luke de Jong, on the bench for this game. This bloke has scored so many goals in the last 2 years. It's absurd, really. But they've gone with Gus Thiel and Pepe, the American striker from former Dallas player, Ricardo Pepe, up front. So I was actually going to back de Jong any time here, but he's not starting. So I don't really know if I can trust Pepe and Gus Thiel. So I'm keeping my eye on if de Jong actually comes on the field at some stage. They don't. It's worth mentioning PSV are pretty much in the hat for the next round, really, unless something catastrophic happens to them, which is very, very unlikely. Another largely wagered game today: Brest versus Real Madrid. 11% of the handle on this match, and I'm really surprised how strong Real Madrid have gone in this game, Nigel. I really thought it's a good chance for them to rest and rotate a little bit, but it's full strength. We've got Rodrigo, Bellingham, Mbappe, Diaz. Vinicius is suspended, but they've got Valverde in there, Rudiger, Tchouaméni, Courtois starts. I mean, Real Madrid aren't going to get in the top 8. I mean, they could, but it's pretty unlikely. I'm really surprised that they're going hard for Brest here. And, I'm just looking at the latest odds now, minus 305.
Minus 305, yeah. But I mean, it's minus 305. Brest have obviously, they're another side like Aston Villa started off in brilliant form, but 2 defeats across their last 3 matches now means that top 8 finish is a little bit of a problem for them. Real Madrid, they're the champions. I mean, they want, Carlo Ancelotti said yesterday in his press conference, he feels like they've got a performance in them. He's bigging them up. Whether they can do so without their main man, Vinicius Junior, who is their main man, that will be a problem for me. I think they'll have enough quality, but Brest, as we've seen in this competition, have produced shocks. But minus 305 for a side that, I mean, it's not like they need the money. I mean, they're the richest club in the world. They're not. That 8 million quid is not going to make much of a difference.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a huge move, and it means that Brest have obviously got to come out there. It's more incentive for them, I believe. But I mean, it is a crazy price, -305. I think the best way to get is to get with Brest on the Asian handicap. What are they? What are they now? Or one and a quarter.
Well, I was going to have Brest as like a hot dog here, but I mean, the team news doesn't really favour that. But they might bring players
as I said back at the top of the show, I mean, you've got to factor in. This is the strangest time. I mean, if we look at data and we look at the players have done, the teams have done this season, you'll have your sort of prices that if you've got a simulation or you've got a model, the model will come out these prices. These nights like this pretty much throw crazy things out the window, and you've got to, the model's only good if you think the opening line of the price is the right price. But this to me looks like it's a price that's gone too much. Brest are at home in a match that they desperately need to win, a 1.5 goal underdogs. I mean, Real Madrid got to win by 2 goals. They haven't had the best Champions League campaign. I know they get, we get the business end. You would expect them the cream to rise to the top, but a 1.5 goal start for Brest is at home is a very, very tempting proposition for me here. It's just coming. The money's come for it. They were -114 a minute ago. Now it's -125. So it's a strange one where the money has come for the Real Madrid on the money line, but the handicap Brest at 1.5 may be a carrot that a lot of people might be taking.
Manchester City have to win against Club Brugge, otherwise they are eliminated from the Champions League. You'd have got massive odds on that at the start of this group stage happening. Where are you on the Manchester City situation? Man City now -530 to win the game. Club Brugge 12-1. The ties at +650. Is there any bet here that tempts you? Seen a few both teams to score. Yes. Tips floating about at -129 now with Bet Rivers. I mean, Man City have had a really poor season. Could it get worse?
I think if they were playing any other team apart from Rouge, I think it could get worse. But I think the way that they're set up, I think Man City will win. The thing for me with this match here, which I think is very good, Man City will want to get this job done in the first half. So they're -480. They're a very, very heavy favourite, 2-goal favourite on the Asian handicap. I think first half, Pep Guardiola will say, right, just go at them, because they can't hold on to a lead. I mean, we see against Feyenoord, we saw against many teams this season. We saw it against Paris Saint-Germain. I think they'll want to get it done early, because there's a few reasons why. Get the crowd behind them, get the players fit, because they still got Champions League aspirations in the Premier League, and at the weekend they play Arsenal. So I think Man City want to get this done quick. Get in, get it done. So I'm looking at Man City on, we're talking about my strategy throughout the match is to basically get teams to be the second half to have more goals. You've already given one Asian handicap there of the first half. I think the Man City Asian handicap here, a -1 a goal. I think they'll cover that very, very early. They're going to come out of the traps flying. Whether they can hold on or concede at the end, because that's been their problem this season, where they've gone 2 or 3-0 up and they've just conceded late goals, which is unlike Man City. But they want to get this done, get this pressure over its potential banana skin to bed, and get Haaland off, get Foden off, and get them ready for Arsenal at the weekend.
Yeah, that's the third most wagered match of the day. Another really highly wagered game, and I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this one, Nigel, is in Stuttgart against PSG. The tie is +170 in this game. If it ends a tie, they both will definitely qualify for the next round. If anyone loses, they could be put in a perilous situation and probably facing elimination. Some might look at this price +170 and think that's quite big in this situation. How do you see it going? Will they both go for the tie?
Well, I think they'll go for the tie from the first whistle, but I think as the game goes on, we get to a certain stage where the tie will move very, very quickly in running. This is an in-running show tonight, and I think that tie price at half-time, if it's 0-0 or 1-1, will be moving very, very quickly, and it will be a price that is very low. The thing about matches where you people think that the match is going to be a tie, it's basically your conspiracy theory is either you got it completely right or it's completely wrong, is it? They are going to play out for a tie, or they're not. So sometimes I think you might as well, if you believe it, you might as well just take the plus 170, because if you think it's plus 170 is going to be a tie, and it is, you believe that they're going to play it out for a tie, then really the true odds are minus 1,000. I'll let you know. So, but whenever we get these matches where people think the match will be a tie, especially like years back, they would be like plus 120, plus 130. The fact that this one here is plus 170, conspiracy theorists will actually be taking that plus 170. If someone said to me now, you can either bet the tie or someone can bet the tie with me, I'd be betting the tie myself rather than taking someone's money at the plus 170. You might look at it and turn around and say, well, it's plus 170 in a game of football and the tie should be $3. And Dan Roebuck tweeted earlier today that there's hardly any draws or ties in this competition so far. But you will be, if it's 0-0, you're going to have squeaky bum time going in the second half. It'll be like -1. It'll be like minus $2, and you'll be holding the. Yeah, so I think I'd want to play it at plus 170.
I think I'd rather bet the tie in the Juventus game against Benfica. Benfica, all they needed is a draw, and they are through. And Juventus have had about 20 different ties all season. Dan Roebuck's been moaning about the lack of ties in the Champions League this season. I think he's obviously been backing them blind. So he's hoping.
He loves a tie. He's always mentioning the draw and the tie, even on the Premier League show. He loves a draw. He loves them. But I mean, there's a lot of games. I mean, that one there, Juventus have let us down on this show, and these live shows we've gone with Juventus before. That to me looks like it could be a quite low score. The other thing about ties as well is that whenever you look at a match that you think will be a tie in a match that sort of both teams need to get a tie, it's never 2-2. It's never 3-3. So if you just bet the 0-0 and the 1-1, you're probably going to get a bigger price than the tie anyway.
There was a 3-3 in the Euro. Was it the Euro Championships when it knocked Italy out? Who was that? Was it Sweden against someone? And it had to be a certain scoreline. But yeah, you're right. Normally it's
normally most ties. Yeah. I mean, when I used to work in the trading back in the day, where some matches in Italy were minus $3, the shrewd Italian bettors we used to come on and bet the 1-1, because they used to think 0-0 draws were too obvious, but 1-0 and then a debatable penalty in the 77th minute was pretty much how those matches used to go. So, it could be if you do like the time one team go 1-0 up, maybe still go in play, but 0-0 or 1-1, if you think there's a tie, it's usually a better way to play, because combine those two odds, you're going to get better than plus 170.
A bet I like, and it was my newsletter pick this week on the video, over 3 goals in Sturm Graz Leipzig at minus 109. I've looked at the lineups. Openda starting for Leipzig here. It's not the worst 11 in the world. We've got Xavi Simons on the bench along with Sesko. No one's really talking about this game, but I do think Leipzig will show their class against the Austrian side. Actually, Leipzig played quite well last week, even though there was nothing really on the game for them. So I think they'll do the same again here. Like the goals, because they never keep clean sheets. Yeah. RB Leipzig. So that is my second pick of the day.
It wouldn't be a show with me, Steve, there wouldn't be a show that I come on to this show without looking at an underplay.
Ooh, where?
I think Inter Milan, Monaco's too high at 3.5 goals or 3 goals in the Asian handicap. I know that Monaco needs to win and to try to force their way in the top 8, but Inter have been the best defensive side in this competition. They've only conceded 1, 8 scored, 1 conceded. I know they're resting a few players tonight, but I don't. If we were looking at this as a regular match, how on earth can that match be a 3.5 goal line? I just don't get why that's a 3.5 goal line. Three goals with the Asian on a push. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me to see Monaco probably winning it 1-0, because their need is a little bit more, and that's why. And they've been bet heavily in the build-up to this match. But Inter Milan have been the most defensive-minded side in the competition. They're one of the lowest. I think they're the lowest scorers one of the lowest scorers in the whole competition, aren't they? And let's have a look. Yeah, they're the lowest scorers in the whole competition with 8 goals, joint lowest, and they're 4th, and they've only conceded 1. So it's called their match have featured 9 goals in 7 matches, and now because it's a last match, it's a 3.5 goal game. I quite like the under in that one. I mean, the bet always in this competition has been Inter to win to 0. I mean, 5 matches they've won, nils, cashed in 4 of them or 5 of them, I think it is. So but
well, just because Monaco have to win and have to score doesn't mean they will. I mean, they could try all day, and they might not. This is a really good defense.
But there's a lot of matches you can see why 3.5 is the line, but I just don't get why that is 3.5 that game. This is just, looking through a lot of matches. Yeah, I can understand why that's 3.5. Yeah, I can understand why that's high one, but it just seems like it could be a standard line tonight, 3.5, because everyone expects goals. And I'm looking at that match thinking, well, it wouldn't surprise me to see this be 1-0. Nothing at all, any reason for anything.
There has been a bit of, there's been a line movement in the Bayern Munich game. Slovan Bratislava have been backed in from 110-1 to 75-1 on the money line. The goal line, this is incredible. Over 5.5 goals with Bet Rivers is now minus money. Over 5.5. This is a staggering goal line.
Well, if any team are going to be involved in a banging, high-scoring game, Bayern Munich would be right up there. But it hasn't. With their last match, you couldn't trust them in their last match because they went to Holland and got embarrassed 3-0 in a match that made me and you look silly. The last time we were on here, we were saying that the goals were going to be a bet and Bayern Munich would cover the handicap. So if you're taking 5.5 goals and you're betting on, the shortest price of any team tonight, the shortest price of any team in the Champions League, and I think on their own they're a 4-goal Asian handicap.
Well, the Asian line is actually now minus 4.25. It was minus 4.5. So the money's been for the goals and a little bit on Slovan on the handicap. So there's a presumption that maybe Slovan can score here now, whereas last night win to 0 would have been a big favourite. It's quite a strong Bayern team. I just don't see why they need to even win big here. They're not, for me, going to get in the top 8. All right, they are the sort of team who do like just to rack up goals for fun, and that could happen, But I don't really think they need to win 6.
But a team, also you got to remember as well. To be fair, you've got a manager in Vincent Kompany who I think is out of his depth at this level. He's a good young manager, well out of his depth at this level. But I think that the other thing is that they may want to make a statement, mightn't they? They've had that big win earlier in the competition, a 9-2. They probably want to make a statement to get to that knockout stage. So listen, no one wants to play us. We put 8 past someone and set some records. And also, it's a good opportunity this last match for someone like Harry Kane or anybody who's got aspirations of being the top goal scorer in the competition. This is a good time to bet. There'll be someone tonight, one of these big strikers, who's going to get 3-4 goals in one of these matches to make a real big statement to be the top goal scorer in this competition. And someone like Harry Kane might look at it as an opportunity. Every time Bayern Munich go to the pitch, they're always pretty much a given to get a penalty. But I would rather bet essentially, really, the 5.5 total is really the handicap, isn't it? Like this.
Yeah, I don't think Slovan will score.
So you're playing 5.5. Really saying that you don't think that Bayern Munich will win by 6 or more goals. So that's an interesting one. That's what Brian just put there. That's the most interesting thing of the night.
Yeah, he's injured. He's injured. Right. So Sporting just need 1 point, by the way. So if you're backing him on the money line at minus 121, that might not be the best bet here. A draw will be enough to see them through to the playoff round. Doesn't mean they won't win the game. But I think that could be an under, actually,
There's been a bit of money in the build-up today for Bologna in this match, which is interesting, really, because Bologna are a side that have got nothing to play for whatsoever apart from financial, and people have bet Bologna. And the other one before we go, Steve, I think we agree on this one. The only other bet that I haven't had a bet tonight, I'm going to have some bets in play if I got an opportunity to do it while I'm chatting to you. But the only bet I would have played tonight would have played Leipzig away. I think Leipzig at Sturm Graz. I think Sturm Graz are one of the poorest teams in the competition. We've been saying all season about the way that how poor that league is. Yeah, Austrian league is, and Leipzig have shown some signs of improvement. The last Champions League game, they look good. They've got goal scorers back. Every time they go to the pitch, they look like got scores. They're a side that have massively underperformed. And I think I think they're around about even money. I thought that was probably one of the best bets of the night on the money line.
Well, the matches are starting right now. Just looking through the chat. So, Duncan, anything, a bet that could cop in the first 15 minutes? I was looking to try and find something in the Bayern game if there was a goal in like the first 15 minutes or something, Duncan. I couldn't quite find the line.
Well, I like Man City to be in the lead. If first 15 minutes, I think Man City could be 2-0 up. That would be the way I would go for that. I think they're going to come out the traps flying tonight. get this done early. They've got a lot of new players to blend in. They've got a big match at the weekend, and I think that Man City will get the job done early. Foden anytime goal scorer, Ian's just put up there. I think that's a decent price. He's if you're looking at the prices and you're looking at the players, then he would be the one that you would say. But I think that I think Haaland's going to have a night tonight. Haaland to score hat-trick tonight. I think there's going to be something.
Well, I say, do you have any sort of general strategies? I mean, just like the Boxing Day cast, I am looking for matches where there's going to be goals. Like, I'm not interested in betting under in running myself. That's just not my style. You might be different. I'm looking for matches where the goals could come.
Well, my strategy in nights like this is when a goal goes in, not what the ramifications are for that match we're watching. It's for what games other
games.
That's where I've always looked at. So if you've got a Premier League match and that one team needs to win to stay up, then suddenly that team goes 1-0 up. That means the other teams have got to play. So the in-running live table. If I was sitting here and I was saying to you what you need tonight, you need the BetRivers app or the website in front of you. You need the Champions League in-running live updated table on it, and you need this podcast on the show, and you won't go wrong. But I think goals going in elsewhere that have ramifications in those top 8 qualification zones, or in that bit which down to sort of 24 and 19. For example, that's where I think you have to capitalise on tonight. So my advice is not going looking for an over or an under, but look at when reaction in other matches when the goals go, not in the matches that you're watching. But I mean, we're off for underway. The marathon gets under. Which is the match that's going to get the first goal, Steve? Where are we going? What are we going to go?
I'm hoping Leverkusen will get the first goal. But by on the odds, you've got to say the Bayern match, haven't you? It's the most likely place for a goal. I've got a question actually.
Man City get the first goal tonight.
This is the second bit of merchandise you can win. Which player has been backed by the most tickets to score a goal today in any match? Put your name down in chat. Which player has been backed the most to score a goal, score any time today? Whoever gets that first will get a bit of BetRivers merchandise. I'm just trying to configure my streams here for the matches, Nigel. I mean, I know you. I'll be watching more than you. That's just the way I go. There hasn't been a goal yet. There's a penalty.
It's penalty in the unders match. In the Inter Milan, they got a penalty. I mean, straight away we want to be under 3.5. The first goal of the night potentially could come into Milan. Interesting that one. That will open it up because the other thing as well, you've got an Italian against a French side there, or Monaco, not essentially French, but you've got a match there where there's going to be a little bit of spice between them. Monaco need to win, and an early goal there for Monaco. The underdog might come out, and that could end up a little bit feisty. So
Villa have scored.
Villa have gone 1-0.
Aston Villa have scored a goal. This is Rodgers, 1-0 to the Villa. Morgan Rodgers on the score sheet here for Aston Villa. So that's the.
So that's the first goal of the night, Aston Villa. Aston Villa's the first goal. I've got you some updated odds on the Aston Villa match now. Aston Villa minus 435 after that goal. Celtic are plus 1050 and the tie is plus 510. And it's a total goal market of over 4.5 with under minus 160, minus 195 now. So Aston Villa get the first goal and that will take them into the top 8. So
right now, Aston Villa are in the top 8. So
now we've got 3 goals gone in, like literally. Atletico Madrid have gone 1-0 up against Salzburg. No surprise there. Lille have gone 1-0 up against Feyenoord, and Inter have converted that penalty. So after 4 minutes, we have 4 goals. I'm going to give you.
I've got the Lille stream on here. I've not seen the goal yet, Nigel. So you're. Oh, wow, this is a weird goal. Actually, I've just seen it now. I don't really. He's trying to cross it and it's gone in. So that was Lewis Jones's bet on yesterday's live show. Lille Feyenoord over 2.5 was his bet of the round. So that's a great start for Lewis.
Well, you've got to listen to that, lad. You won't go far wrong. He's on fire at the moment. Let's have a look at the table. Now, this is the thing about this now is we need to look at the in-running table. So you need to know really now where these positions are and where
Celtic are all over the place here at the moment. They're 2 down as well. It's 2-0 to Aston Villa.
Aston Villa 2-0 up.
It's all over the place.
Well, that's pretty much over from a betting event straight away. I'll give you some updates on some of these prices at the moment. But Aston Villa gone 2-0 up. Great start for Aston Villa. I mean now that means now, where are we?
So this is good for them. They need the goals because at the end of the night, goal difference could be massive for them. Leverkusen, the pressure's on Leverkusen suddenly. They will not be enjoying what they're hearing from Villa Park right now by Leverkusen because at the moment they are the team being displaced by them. Although Lille might be into the top 8 as well now at this point in time as well.
Well, we've got the top 8 standings as we stand now. Liverpool are top, Barcelona 2nd, Inter Milan 3rd, Atletico Madrid 4th, Arsenal 5th, Villa up to 6th, AC Milan down to 7th, and Lille are in 8th. So now Atalanta need to come out and get something. Bayer Leverkusen, their position is under threat. Brest needs something from their match, but at the moment, those are the teams that are trying to get into the top 8. So Atalanta now need to up their match. Obviously, we didn't even discuss their match, but they've got a very, very difficult match, haven't they, away at Barcelona. So they need to get something from that. Bayer Leverkusen are home to Prague. We're expecting them to win. If they go up front in the lead, then it pushes Lille down but a good goal for Lille. I'll give you some updated odds on the back of those goals. Aston Villa now. The Aston Villa match is minus 14.30 with Bet Rivers for Aston Villa. Celtic are 30-1 to come back, total 4.5. Well, that game's pretty much over from a betting event there. Atletico Madrid are minus 6.70 against Red Bull Salzburg 17, the tie 6.50. We've got the goal in the Lille Inter Milan. I think something might have happened again in the Inter Milan
Goal in
game.
Stuttgart. Goal in Stuttgart. In the PSG are ahead.
Wow.
There's been a goal for PSG. So
PSG are minus $2.
Wow.
Stuttgart plus 650. The tie is 280. 3.5 now. Now, if you think that one there with the draw gets both teams through, regardless of what's happening now, plus 280 is the price for the draw. So it might be a price that you want to play on. Lille up minus 186 against Feyenoord, 475, and that is a 3.5 goal game as well. So we've had a wild start. It's going to get even crazier in the second half. I mean, it's going to get even crazier in the second half. Loads of goals going around at the moment. But as far as the big news of the night is Aston Villa pushing their way into the top 8 and Lille also in the top 8 as well. No goal yet at Manchester City, still 0-0. Catch your breath already, Steve.
I mean, just looking at this Aston Villa game now, it's 2-0. Over 4.5 goals is minus 186. Would your inclination be to bet on that match now or leave it alone? Because I mean, De Villa stopped there. I mean,
not. It's about how much pride Celtic have got, isn't it? I mean, Villa in dreamland. I mean, they've got a great position. They don't have to go on and kick on 3-4. It's going to be very difficult for Celtic to come back. It's all about how much motivation Celtic have got, and it just shows you the gap between the Premier League and the Scottish Premiership. So 4.5. I probably wouldn't go in it. Bayern Munich have just gone 1-0 up as well. So Bayern Munich have scored there was no betting on the Bayern Munich game before the match. So in terms of Bayern Munich's chance to win it, there were such heavy favourites, but they've gone 1-0 up. And that's that will even make that handicap that what's the handicap now on that one? I mean, the handicap on that game is the total now is 6.5. Under 6.5 and over 6.5. 1-0 up by Munich. 6.5 up. That is. You only see that in you see that in like English FA Cup matches where a Premier League, not even that. You wouldn't even get like England Premier League. Say a team plays at a non-league side in England in the FA Cup. You'd never get a 6.5 handicap. And this is a Champions League match, and Bayern Munich is 6.5. Lewis has said that the Lille match over 2.5 was his bet. It's 1-1 after 10 minutes. Feyenoord have just
I've just got this game on now. It's terrible defending, actually. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a VAR check here. The goalkeeper's gone down holding his head, claiming he's going to be disallowed. Right. The referee has disallowed the goal. So that is going to be 1-0 unless VAR overturns it, and I can't see that happening. That's a bit unlucky for Lewis Jones. I mean, that Bayern game for me, I still ain't sure they're going to absolutely rack up the score, Nigel.
Well, 6.5 is like... It's madness. It's absolutely madness. 6.5 goals.
I don't see why they need to keep going.
Well, they're 10th. They can't get in the top 8. I mean, they're 10th now. Even if they put 10 past them, they can't get in the top 8. I don't know.
Leverkusen just had one cleared off the line. They're all over Sparta Prague here. I'm still pretty confident about this half-time play on them for me.
If Man City win tonight, there is a possibility they could meet Bayern Munich in the knockout stage, isn't it? It could happen.
I mean, that in itself is a mental mind conundrum, isn't it? I mean, I was trying to look at potential draws, and I can't get my head around it, Nigel. Like, whoever plays who is going to have to play who, isn't it? Simple as that.
Yeah.
But,
you can guarantee though a lot of these clubs will have simulations that run, and they'll know that they're going to be playing the percentage chance of playing this and percentage chance of playing that, and however bad they've had, nobody will want to be playing Manchester City at the knockout stages in the top. Let's have a look at some matches here, Steve, that are still 0-0. And obviously we'll be talking about some. So Sporting Lisbon against Bologna, it's still 0-0. The goal line has now moved to 2.5 in that match. Barcelona, Atalanta. Now, this is an interesting one here because obviously we didn't discuss it at the beginning, but Atalanta need to win this to get into those top 8 positions. They're plus 325 to win at Barcelona. Barcelona already guaranteed in those 8 spaces. And that is still a 3.5 goal match after 11 minutes. So that's minus 152 on the money line, Barcelona, plus 325 Atalanta. If we go back down to the Brest match, Brest are now plus 575. Real Madrid are minus 250. And Juventus, Benfica, that could be the interesting one, as you said, the draw. The draw's moving quite fast in there. Plus 205 is the draw now. Juventus plus 128. Benfica only need a point, plus 245. And Man City, not having it all their own way after the first 12 minutes, they're minus 360 on the money line. There's been a goal for Arsenal. Arsenal have gone 1-0 up at
Just
Girona.
seeing Arsenal go ahead. Yeah.
So, and just the early moves on the PSV.
Red card. There's a red card for Monaco, I think. Monaco down 10 men potentially here.
Well,
I'm getting word there's a red card for Monaco.
Well, that, I've said it on these shows quite a lot. Now, Inter, we know they win 2-0. We know they've got the best defense in the world. Monaco in the competition. Monaco need to win to progress through to the top, or give them a chance to get into the top 8. They've gone down to 10 men. Now, that really does enhance the under here. So that will play into Inter's man. And when you've got 10 men, you do not want to be playing against Inter Milan. Now, I think I've already said I wanted to play the under 3.5 before the match. Got an early goal against me. Now, with the team that have to chase going down to 10 against a very, very strong defence, that really does look like if the goal line is 4.5 in that match, the Asian line is 4. That would be my first bet in play tonight. Under 4 goals at minus 103. 4 goals a push. We lose at 5. Monaco down to 10 after 12 minutes at the meanest defence. That's a bet. Under 4 goals. That's the first bet I'm having tonight.
Yeah, Mawissa's been sent off. The left back for Monaco. I think he's playing left back tonight. That is I've not actually seen this incident or anything, but that is a very, very early red card.
What do you think about that, Steve? That under 4 guy?
I think it's under, yeah, because I think Monaco. I said to you, are they even good enough to score with 11 men against them? Because just because they have to win and have to get a result doesn't mean they will score. Inter Milan are not the sort of team who tend to rack up the score that often, unless they have to.
Well, I said they're the lowest
2-0,
scoring
3-0 here now.
Wouldn't surprise me if it'd be 1-0, Steve. It would, honestly. Who have Inter got at the weekend? Have you got Inter's fixtures there?
They do have the big game against Milan in the derby.
So they've got Inter play AC Milan at the weekend. They're 1-0 up. This is the Italian team, the best, and they're up against a side that got a chase with 10 men. That's a cracking bet. Under 4 goals.
That's a Bosnian referee in that game I've never heard of, and I need to see the incident. Feyenoord now have equalised. This one will count. Poked in, and this is a wild game. Both teams, the draw does nothing for either. This is the proper ABBA game of the night. Winner takes it all. Someone's got to win the game, and they might have a chance of getting in the top 8. So it's 1-1 now. Feyenoord.
But why? I mean, we didn't cover that match because it was virtually impossible to cover all 18 matches. But I mean, why was that game? Winner takes all. Why was that match at 2.5 when some of these other matches were 3.5? Just purely on the money line, I suppose.
Reputation, maybe. Fine. I mean, every Feyenoord game has gone over 2.5 as well, hasn't it? So that was maybe that's why. I mean, Lewis Jones cottoned onto it yesterday.
Yeah.
So he just needs one more goal there. I mean, I think Feyenoord are one of the hardest teams to predict in this competition. But you never know what you're going to get with them, do you? They're not doing that well domestically, but they seem to play quite well in the Champions League.
Yeah, but at home, they're so the fans are crazy, aren't they? I mean, it's unbelievable. The scenes last week at that Bayern Munich match were absolutely unbelievable. Obviously, it's a Dutch side against a German side, and there's no love lost between the two nations. But that was incredible scenes there, and it was pretty mad. But let's have a look at some more. I mean, listen, I don't really get, it's early days in the last game, but I'm very, very excited by that 4-goal line in that match there with the sending off. People, don't realise when there's a sending off in a match, that everyone thinks that it's going to mean the overs. It doesn't. It has the opposite effect there, and I think that's my first real big bet. Let's have a look at some updates here.
Manchester City have scored.
Oh, look, I just said under 4. Inter just scored 2-0. Oh no! What a 2-0. It's Man City
2-0 there. Man City are 1-0 up. Of 16 minutes it took them to get on the score sheet. You said they would get on the board early, Nigel. They have. Just waiting on confirmation of that goal now. It's 2-0 to Inter. Benfica have scored against Juventus away.
That's a shock. That'd be interesting to see how we bet on that one now, because obviously Dortmund have gone 1-0 up against Shakhtar Donetsk.
PSG are 2-0 up.
Oh, the draw bettors are in trouble now.
Right. So this game, I'm going to get involved in PSG now because Stuttgart might be heading out if they don't respond here. So this is a match I'll be looking to get on the overs now with Stuttgart, because they've got to give it absolutely everything.
Where's this Man City goal? I can't see this Man City goal.
Chalked off. It's chalked off. It's chalked off, apparently.
Well, let's have a look at the standings now. So these are the standings now. The top 8 teams. Liverpool obviously there. Barcelona there. Inter now up in 3rd. Atletico Madrid 4th. Arsenal up to 5th. Aston Villa 6th. AC Milan and Atalanta are in now. So they're 7th and 8th. Both their matches are currently 0-0. As a draw would be good enough to get them in there, providing Bayer Leverkusen do not win. So Bayer Leverkusen have to get going. Feyenoord need to get goals in them. Lille need to get goals in them, and Brest need to get goals in them. So currently at the moment, the top 8 places: Liverpool, Barcelona, Inter, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, Villa, Milan, and Atalanta. And teams who are missing out as we speak now, well, all of them as you would expect, but there's one big team missing out currently, and that is Manchester City. A draw could be good.
PSG wasn't a goal, by the way. It wasn't 2-0, so it's disallowed. Dortmund have scored against Shakhtar.
Because Stuttgart are losing 1-0 currently at the moment, that means that if Manchester City get a draw, no, it wouldn't. No, they need to win. They need to win. Sorry, I was thinking that they might be okay with that Stuttgart, but no, it isn't. They definitely need to win. And they're not doing it at the moment. What a story that would be if they didn't. The team that
would be unbelievable. Just one here, Nigel. We amongst it all, we didn't even mention it. Atletico Madrid 2-0 up away to Salzburg. Right, they're the sort of team when they go ahead like that, they can very easily shut up shop and just get the job done.
But isn't that the sort of Atletico Madrid that we expected maybe 5 years ago? They're a bit more
4.5 goal line, by the way.
Was it Dynamo Zagreb have gone 1-0 up against AC Milan?
Oh, that's not good news for me. I need Milan in the top 8. That's a big shock. Zagreb actually going to qualify the state currently.
The good news for me is the Inter Milan Monaco goal. The second goal's under VAR review at the moment. So
now PSG apparently are 2-0 up. I'm not going to count this because VAR is just getting involved with every goal here and disallowing.
So Zagreb now have gone into that 24th.
This is a shock.
They've got a big shock. So they're in the knockout stages, and Milan are now out of the top 8, and Dortmund are in the top 8. So Milan and Bayern Munich are now 9th. So if Dortmund drop points and a goal goes back in the Dortmund match, or Atalanta get beat by Barcelona, then Bayern Munich could go into the top 8 here. So
I think watching the AC Milan match, if you are seeing that on Clever, it looks on the stats Zagreb have dominated, so I don't know if they're in control of the game. I mean, AC Milan they've got to win the game to get in the top 8 for me.
The Inter goal has stood to the 2-0 up, but I still think that I know it sounds a crazy thing to say, but I don't think that the fact of the matter is Inter Milan can shut up shop, and Monaco, who need to win after attack, and now they're 2-0 down, they might take a lot of the spirit out of them. I think let's have a look at the match now that I think is quite an interesting betting perspective from a money line market, and is that Zagreb match now. So Zagreb are now plus 155, Steve. AC Milan are plus 150, and the tie is plus 280. So that's probably the most interesting betting event now, along with the Liverpool match. The Liverpool match, nothing really going on there, and that's more or less a pick 'em match as well. You know, you decide which way you want to go on that Liverpool match. Liverpool, PSV Eindhoven are plus 143, Liverpool plus 185, and the tie is plus 240. So, yeah, Brest, the 1.5 Brest, which I thought was a decent price at the start, looking good. Then 0-0 against Real Madrid. Real Madrid took my minus 235, Brest to plus 550. So, yeah, all happening, but the shock of the night so far, and not good for you, I know, and anyone who followed the newsletter, or everyone here was on the newsletter, is that Dynamo Zagreb go, but a long way to go. We've still got 70 minutes, and AC Milan are still favourites to win the match, plus 148.
It's a terrible goal. I never expected it at all. That I fully thought AC Milan would go there, get the job done. I mean, they are backable, the minus 114 on the minus 1 Asian handicap in play. So, but really, the draw does no good at all. So you might as well bet them on the money line, really.
I did say at the start of the show there was a decent move in the build-up to this match for Bologna, and they've just gone 1-0 up against Sporting Lisbon.
That is great news for the likes of Stuttgart, the likes of Zagreb. Sporting could be...
Well, not good. It's not good for Stuttgart because Stuttgart needs their 2-0 down. I mean, they're Sporting are still ahead of them. Sporting have just in that. What you're talking about come downs.
They are still ahead of them, actually. Yeah.
You talk about come downs. You talk about the meltdown at Manchester City. Me and you were doing a show here. I think when Sporting Lisbon played Arsenal, I think it was talking about them potentially being the shock team in this tournament to win it. They're just hanging on for dear life in that 24th spot here. And if Manchester City win today, then they haven't even qualified. That is a huge 3 different managers in the last 3 months or so. I mean, that's a huge come down from them.
The Barcelona game, the goal line was 4, I think. There's only been 1 shot on target in the first 23 minutes. So that match at the minute is not exploding as a lot of people thought it might do.
It has to go in the second half, does it? I mean, it might not. It might not, because currently the 0-0 draw sees Atalanta in 7th and Barcelona 2nd. So, at the way things are going at the moment, the
draw's fine for Barca.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter for Barca, but for Atalanta, the draw at the moment is seeing them in the space. If Milan, so it might just fizzle out. That could be a match now. We can look at the lines and think, hang on a minute, what are the total goals in that match now?
The total goals for the Barcelona game is hold on, under 2.5 at plus 135. It's crashed quite significantly, actually. Just look at the Asian line, under 3 at minus 120. So I mean, that's moved a whole line in the first 22 minutes, that's quite a lot actually for 20 minutes. So clearly, I've not watched it or anything. It must be a bit of a damp squib right now.
Do you think the tie in play at plus 285 could be an angle here? The way that the matches are going, and the tie sees them both into the top 8 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the table now because the big shock at the minute is obviously AC Milan. Dortmund winning. I mean, the minute 15 points is definitely enough for Atalanta. Who could overtake them? If Milan win, then immediately they're...
Yeah, but that puts Atalanta in 8th.
If one of Feyenoord or Lille win, though, that's another team that would go above them.
Yeah.
So, and Brest are actually dominating the match statistically, by the way, against Real Madrid. Whether quite what that means, is debatable, but they've had a good start on the stats of Brest against Real Madrid today.
So how many goals have we had so far? 2, 3, 4, 5... 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15 goals. Is that right? 15 goals after 25 minutes. I think you want a few more.
Stuttgart, the team have to respond, right? So what's the goal line in this Stuttgart game now? I might just get on this one because they have to take risks, Stuttgart. No one really saw it being 2-0 PSG, did they, after 25 minutes? So that's a bit of the goal line is 4.25, which that's a bit too early for me to be wanting to get involved in, because if it was a 2-2 draw, they'd both be happy. But if that goal line gets to say 3.5, I think I might be interested in taking it, Nigel, on the overs. Stuttgart PSG.
Makes sense. It makes sense. They've got to come out. They've got to come back, and they've got to fight. And we saw they're going to leave themselves open, and that means that PSG can hit them on the counter attack as well. There's got to be goals in that match, and we saw in the last match PSG what a crazy match they were. They were 2-0 down in that match and come back in a crazy second half, didn't they? 6 goals in the second half in their last match, and so I that strategy of goals over in second half, I quite like. I don't think there's been as many. We get crazy first 10 minutes or so, or first 5 minutes when there was goals going in, but they've sort of dried up a little bit. So
they have a bit, yeah, and maybe the goals haven't come in certain spots where the goal lines were high as well. It's probably worth saying. I mean, like the Lille match, for example, that was 2.75 goal line. Salzburg, Atletico Madrid, I don't think was a mega high goal line. So
Liverpool have a penalty. Liverpool have a penalty.
So this will be Gakpo probably on it, will it?
Yeah, Liverpool have a penalty. I mean, that big move for Liverpool all day, all on the team news. But the one thing about Liverpool, they have got such a good crop of youngsters, and they're not, you saw when they went to Trent Alexander-Arnold and brought in the fullback, the replacement there in Bradley, and they've just got a conveyor belt of young players, and they blend them well in the cup competition in this country. So they've all played good matches at high level. A lot of them played in cup finals last season, the season before, when they got to the League Cup final. So they have big game experience. But Liverpool have got a penalty, which I can imagine. This is the most bet match, as we said earlier. And majority of the money I would have thought would be for PSV, given the move for them. So this could be a decent goal for the books here if Liverpool score. And Liverpool going to be, if they win this night, 8 matches, 8 wins, top of the table. One penalty now. Has he missed it?
I'm just looking now at there's a bet of mine up actually in the Leverkusen game again. It's the corners market. They're all over them. They can't score yet, but they are racking up the corners like crazy. Leverkusen, 5 corners already.
Well, that's another good angle, because they've got to really attack, haven't they? So looking at the corners in that match is a really, really good. I think Liverpool have missed a penalty, Steve.
Have they missed it? I've not got that game on.
So.
Betting suspended in the Leverkusen game.
No, there's an injury. I don't think they've. There's an injury to Chiesa, and they're waiting to see the referee stop play so they can see medical. Gakpo is taking the penalty. Gakpo's taking the penalty for Liverpool. 28 minutes. He's going to take the penalty.
There's a VAR review here for handball for Leverkusen for a penalty. That's why the betting's been suspended.
Yeah, Gakpo scored for Liverpool. Liverpool are 1-0 up.
I bet that was I'm trying to find some stats. There's some data actually on Gakpo. I think he might have been quite backed here today in the Liverpool game. I'm sure I saw something.
Another Bayer Leverkusen have a penalty, Steve, against Sparta Prague.
It is under review, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Or maybe you're ahead of me here. We'll know if it's score or not.
Now, this will take the penalty. You're talking about the penalties under pressure. If they do take this penalty and they get given, this will take Bayer Leverkusen up to 7. So that will push Dortmund. So this will be a good for one German side and bad for another German side.
If they miss this penalty, I'm going to get on their corners. If they score it, I'm not interested in the corners as much.
Girona have scored against Arsenal. Girona have gone 1-0 up against
nil.
Arsenal. So Arsenal are 1-0 up against Girona. Give you the odds on that one. What have we got here? So Bayern Munich waiting for them. They're still lit, man. Man City still 0-0. I mean, this is talking about corners. If that's 0-0 at half time, Man City, that will be like.
So this might not be a penalty for Leverkusen. Actually, the referee's gone to his monitor, which means he's probably going to overturn this.
Okay. The Girona game. Girona now 1-0 up against Arsenal.
It's off his head. It's off his head. This isn't going to be. It's not going to be a penalty.
Pickham now plus 155 Girona, plus 155 Arsenal, plus 270 to tie, and the over 2.5 goals minus 210. Girona 1-0 up against Arsenal. Doesn't really do any difference. Arsenal still through. Girona are out, so it's not really nothing really to worry about there. That was a proper dead rubber, wasn't it? And you look about motivation for players. Arsenal at the weekend, trip to Man City, injury crisis, probably that's one that got away really, Girona. If they
Well, I tell you, what, I'm having a bet here, Nigel. -143 over 6.5 total corners first half. Leverkusen, Sparta Prague. There's been 5 already. We just need 2 more before half time.
You're going to make. I want you to. Can we? You need to make a note of this. I don't know if Troy can put. And when we have an official play, if you can put it into the chat, it'd be quite good to get people to know. But I think Girona are a bet to beat Arsenal here, or Girona on the draw no bet, or some, or the Asian handicap at 0, because at the moment Girona are +160. Yeah,
to Arsenal, win, and they're 1-0 up.
They're 1-0 up. They're +160. That can't be right. Surely that can't be right. Surely. How can that possibly be right?
160 to win in running.
That can't be right. Surely, that's got to be wrong.
Arsenal before the game, because I'll be honest, I didn't even look at that game much really. Arsenal were -200 before the game, Nigel.
Well, that's a great bet, but I want to do it on the Asian handicap because Liverpool, Arsenal now they're out. This competition they're through. They've got nothing to play for. They're done. Right? We know that they're through. They've got no. And at the weekend, they played Manchester City. The Premier League now is everything to them. +160, 1-0 up, Girona. I think
Leverkusen just scored. So good for me and then bad for me. So I'm on the corners, but I'm on the halftime. Obviously, pre-game was my pick.
Yeah. Troy's got it right there. Not a lot. Girona draw no bet, -120. I think that's absolutely
that does actually look like a really good bet.
Because
Arsenal, nothing at stake for them.
Arsenal could bring on 5 or 6 young kids in the second half off the bench. They could bring a load of players on the bench, get everybody fit. We know they've got injury problems. They know they've got problems up front. They're chasing the tails of Liverpool. They're already out of the competition. You know, they know they're already qualified, and I think that's an absolute brilliant bet. Girona draw no bet. And the other bet, Troy, I bet is under 4 goals Inter against Monaco, which was -105 as well. So that was the conversation. Real Madrid have gone 1-0 up. Thanks, Max, for that. Real Madrid 1-0 up at Brest, which was we gave a little.
Is it Mbappe? Because he was the most wagered player to score any time. Is it Mbappe?
It was
the good one. Rodrigo
still. So what does that do? That's not good for Brest in terms of good automatic qualification. No, but Real Madrid up to 11.
There's not many goals going in, Nigel, the last 10 minutes, is there? Like
no.
That goal in Leverkusen is about the only one in the last 10
minutes.
And
there's only one match out of the 18 where both teams have scored.
Yeah, I mean, that Barcelona game, there's still only been 5 shots in the entire match. The XG is just 0.2. Now, do we strike on under now for this game?
Well, I think we should. You know, at the moment, it looks as though that a draw would be enough. So I thought that a draw looked a bit of value at +285. I mean, you're betting the under purely and simply because you think that the 2 sides might get a draw and get a point and go through. So if you think it might be a draw,
hold on, it's crashed though. Under 2.5 is -114 now. Well, this is a goal line that started the match at over under 4, by the way. So it feels like.
But I think, don't you think the draw's the better bet?
+255.
Yeah, because like you're bet. The reason why you're betting the under because they're both being very cautious, and they're both thinking, well, a draw at the moment is getting us into the last 8.
How about Atlanta +0.5?
I just think about the draw.
I just 255. Like,
I'm not turning into Dan Roebuck at the moment, but I think the draw at +255. I'm going to make that another official play. Yeah,
official play.
+255 in the draw at Atalanta against Barcelona. Atalanta. I mean, I think that's a big price. +255 for a draw. Let's put this into some kind of context here, right? This is a draw pre-match in most football matches is +255. This is now 32 minutes into the match. Well, how many minutes have we gone into now? 33 minutes? How many minutes are we in, Steve?
34. 33.
34 minutes into a match. There's hardly been a shot on target. And on current positions, the draw gets both sides automatically through to the last 8, and you can still bet it at +255. I think it's absolutely massive. Barcelona Atalanta draw +255. The only way that game will change is if suddenly a goal goes in elsewhere and Atalanta have got to come out and go for it. But at the moment, they're someone in their side. Then they'll know at half time that they're into the last 8. There's no all this stuff where they say teams don't know.
PSG are 3-0 up, apparently.
Blimey.
I'm not actually. Maybe I should have struck on that over there, but now is it a case of Stuttgart? Well, that is going to take some comeback now, isn't it, for Stuttgart?
That's it. It's game over. You look at this; they're not coming back from that. That's a great performance. I tell you what, it's a statement performance as well because PSG have been so poor in this competition.
I know.
Did Lewis Jones mention them as well, potentially to win the competition?
Win the competition at 18-1 with Bet Rivers. Which the minute that at the end of tonight, that's not going to be 18-1, is it?
No, I the only team I'm on the. So I'm looking at how many goals. I think there's been 22 goals in the Champions League, and usually you want about on a normal week, if you're betting over and unders, you want about 40% of the goals in the first half to 60% in the second half, and the Bet Rivers special was 65.5, wasn't it? So you'd want 26 goals really going into half time, and you're probably gonna get that, aren't you? 6.5.
Who reckons there's going to be a penalty in the City Bruges game?
Who's
Manchester City Bruges? You can see a penalty being awarded at some point. He thinks. So,
I think the bet for that. I mean, they're 37 minutes in. It's 0-0. Man City have to win.
Goal for Celtic.
It's got you question. You said to me, what you said, what would they do? Would they? Atalanta have gone 1-0 up against Barcelona. What a big goal that is. Big goal.
It's a big goal for Atlanta. Yeah.
It's also good for the draw, the underdog going 1-0.
Yeah, because Barcelona have got to come out and play a little bit now.
Yeah.
They're not just gonna. They're at home. They're not just gonna completely give up the ghost, are they?
I do say some silly things though when I say that's a good goal for the draw when the team go 1-0 up. But you know what I mean. Ideally, we'd want it to be 0-0. But when I say it's a good goal for the draw, because obviously PSV have equalised against Liverpool.
Yeah, PSV on the score sheet. Bakayoko with the heavily linked with Newcastle in the latter stage of this transfer window has got Pepe with the assist there, the American player for PSV. So that's good news for PSV backers.
But I'll give you a little bit of rundown of these matches so far. So I'll just give you some odds and look at the markets. If you want to head across to Bet Rivers website, look at the app. Bologna 1-0 up against Sporting. There's Bologna on the money line -107. Inter Milan 2-0 up. Total goals. We've got an official play here under 4 goals, and that's with the Asian handicap. Barcelona v Atalanta. Atalanta have gone 1-0 up, but we're still waiting for some lines to come. Sturm Graz against Leipzig. Leipzig were even money before the match. They're 1-0 and they're -110, so they haven't really changed in 38 minutes. They're probably dominating on the stats there. The goal fest at Bayern Munich hasn't come. 6.5 goal line. It's 1-0. Goal line is now 4.5. The shock of the night, Dynamo Zagreb 1-0 up against AC Milan. Zagreb are now favourites to beat Milan, +143. Atletico Madrid under the radar, 33-1. They were a couple of weeks ago. I tweeted about them to win the Champions League. They're 2-0 up. They're -2,500. That game is over. Bayer Leverkusen 1-0 up against Sparta Prague, -3,335. Benfica 1-0 up at the Juventus Stadium, -136. Man City still 0-0. All eyes are going to be on.
Lille have scored. Lille are ahead 2-1. It might be an own goal, I think.
We'll come back and give you that one because that's a cash now for Leon Lewis Jones. Bad goal for Arsenal have equalised against Girona. We get the updates on that. Red Boys,
Celtic have equalised.
Wow. Now
the fans are going absolutely berserk.
Now that is interesting because that
who saw that coming?
That knocks Villa out of the top 8. I think. I think Villa, they've gone down to 13th. From 6th to 13th in the space of 2 minutes. 2-0 up, 2-2, 13. That's a great result for Lille. A great goal for Lille. Lille have obviously now gone in there. That is
absolutely nuts.
And that is a wild thing.
There's some strange stuff going on here, Nigel, isn't there? There really is. Not least Manchester City 0, Club Brugge 0. Still.
I mean that's. I mean, if Villa do not get involved in this, that will be incredible. If they miss out on that Champions League, I mean
Liverpool ahead. Liverpool ahead, apparently.
Liverpool winning 2. I mean, where we are now, Steve, I'll give you these top 8 positions. So Liverpool top, Barcelona second, Inter Milan third, Atletico Madrid fourth, Arsenal fifth, Leverkusen sixth, Lille up to 7th, Atalanta 8th. That means Villa drop out to 12th, 13th. AC Milan are 12th. So those are they are the big fallers. The big movers are Lille and Bayer Leverkusen. They're the 2 who have capitalised on it. The first half, Milan and Villa are in trouble. And the big news, obviously, is Aston Villa are currently 20.
Milan are down to 10 men. They're done for. That's it. That's the end of my top 8.
Don't be so. Listen, stranger things have happened. They've got to come back. They're not done for just yet. You've got a lot of things. Let's have a look at the what have we got here? So Aston Villa minus 136 now, 2-0 up, minus 136 now 2-2 Celtic plus 460, plus 240 the draw, and Arsenal now minus 143 against Girona, plus 550 the tie, 210. Man City minus 286 approaching half time. And where we got with the Liverpool now were heavy favourites. What was the goal? Was Milan, wasn't it? Milan sending off, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know who's actually been given the marching orders just yet, but it is a red
card. We're waiting for the lines, but that meant that now Dynamo Zagreb are minus 195 to beat AC Milan. But you're talking about, I mean, a club like Dynamo Zagreb, but they're going to how many get it? €3 million for this if they win this tonight, something like that. That's huge money.
They'll get a bonus for qualifying. This is I can't believe that. Like, that is really poor.
Another goal. Sturm Graz have gone 1-0 up against RB Leipzig, which is a bit of a shock. Sturm Graz are now minus 105. Been so disappointing this season. Leipzig are plus 290, and the tie is plus 225. Barcelona Atalanta still 0-0. That tie is 230 there. Both of them are just getting through on the draw because other teams are dropping points. But Atalanta.
Brian, what's happened to AC Milan in that game? In watching it, have they been bad? Was there any sign of them equalising before that red card? Because I certainly Zagreb got off to a good start on the metrics. Well,
if you look at, we're approaching half time now, right? And there's obviously things like angles of predictions and stuff like that. We've got to look at Errol. All right, so Lille are 2-1 up. They've got to hold on to that lead. Atalanta can't afford to lose. Atalanta, if they go behind against Barcelona, they're in trouble. So Atalanta are going to try to protect. They don't want to be too gun-ho. So that total goal line and that draw on Atalanta is a good thing. If you look at teams that have got to come out and go mad in the second half, well, there's 2 English clubs. Villa have got to come out. So you're looking at angles like corners. You're looking at angles like, anything attack-minded for Aston Villa. AC Milan, even though they're down to 10 men, they have to come out and try to go mad. Stuttgart have got to come back. They're 3-0 down. They're in trouble. But Man City, so for me, I think the 2 sides that in the second half, if the 2 English sides, Villa and Man City, and I think if we look at some prop bets on corners, they're going to be very, very high because it's do or die for them. It's absolutely well, especially for Man City. At least
they've got the Man City game on. If you're watching the Man City game, let us know what is going on there. And have Man City look like scoring or not? Because that is a little bit of a surprise to me.
Yep.
But it's still 0-0.
Dortmund have gone 2-0 up, Steve. Dortmund are 2-0 up in their match as well. So I'm trying to.
Are they in contention?
Dortmund.
They are if results favour them, aren't they? Yeah.
Dortmund are ninth. Dortmund are ninth.
Still only 1-0 Bayern Munich, by the way.
Well, it could come down to goal difference because Atalanta are. Oh, actually, Atalanta got much better goal difference. They're plus 14. Dortmund will be plus 10. So Dortmund might have to get a scoreline here to try closing on Atalanta, but a goal for Barcelona changes.
I am just hearing word that Club Bruges have scored.
Oh my God.
My God.
Oh my God. Man City are 1-0 down at home to Club Bruges. That is
all right.
Unbelievable.
We've got to attack this second half.
That is
with Man
absolutely
City.
Well, you're going to get no value. I mean,
wow.
Man City.
What on earth is this?
I mean, they were the favourites to win the Champions League. What price would they have been not to finish in the top 24?
Well, I wish I knew. There were odds available.
I would think three figures, big three. There'd have to be three figures. Why it's not to
Looks like Desmond might be making an appearance at PSV, but half time here.
PSV have just scored 2-2. Yeah, PSV 2,
2-2.
Liverpool 2.
That's where the goals have come in that game. No one really thought it would be.
I can't believe that now that's an interesting betting heat. Now you've got a real interesting betting heat that Man City game, but they're gonna. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, we're thinking, well, the Bet Rivers haven't come up with any odds yet because they're scratching their head thinking, what? How do we do this? Because even everything goes out the window here. So Man City are plus 160 for the win. So they're plus 160 to be they're heavy minus money to not be in the Champions League at the end of the night. Plus, well, they've been going mad now. So the line is going crazy. They opened up plus 160 as soon as Bruges scored. Then it went plus 150. Then it's gone plus 135. And now it's settling at plus 118. That's in like 2 minutes. No one has a clue how to price this bet up, this matchup. Now it's plus 116. There is 3-4 Man City. The bettors just want to take Man City, whatever price you want. That opened up. Now 10 plus 107. That is, people just want to bet Man City. It's like they got no idea really where this price should be. It's gone from plus 138 to plus 107 as soon as the goal goes in. It's like everybody in the world wants to be on Man City now. But you're looking at Man City and you look at the goals, you look at the corners, you're going to take artificially very low prices. And you're betting Man City on the form.
On screen there.
Sorry?
From producer Troy. We had several bettors get Club Brugge on the money line at 16-1 in the lead up to the match.
Wow.
So they did have some backers.
Wow.
Club Brugge. 6 minutes added on this Lille Feyenoord game. I still think Lille Feyenoord's a great candidate to go significantly over in the second half, even more, because Feyenoord have got to come out for this. And if it did go 2-2, that is no good for either team. So that's another match I'm going to have a look at.
Arsenal have gone 2-1 up, which is bad for me. They're 1-0 down now, 2-1. Minus 7.15 Arsenal. Girona 24. There could be goals in there as well. So,
is there a 0-0 left?
Yeah, there's a few. Barcelona,
Atalanta.
That's probably one of the most unlikely ones that you would even know. I think there's another one. Young Boys in there. Young Boys are 0-0. Young Boys, yeah. That could be a pretty much a 0-0.
You said it last week. They've got a new manager and he's Italian. I didn't know much about this manager. Well, what? They went and won. They only lost 1-0, didn't they? I think they had another low-scoring game. Domestic, it might have been 0-0 again domestically, and now they're 0-0 already. So Young Boys. And
the goal lines dropped to 1.5 there. And I as you probably know if you follow Twitter, obviously my background, I'm over in Montpellier for the tennis. Me and Neil Channing have come over to watch the tennis. And unfortunately, I left the 0-0 detector was at home, and the passport, the customs took it off me today. So it will be flashing, I think, at that Young Boys match with that Italian manager and a 0-0 match between two sides with absolutely nothing to play for. Athletic Madrid 3-0 up. I mean, just unbelievably how they go under the radar.
Do you know what? That could be, I think, second half. That could stay 3-0 because Salzburg.
Well, it's gone. The halftime whistles are going off. Man City 0, Club Brugge 1 halftime. What price would you have been Bruges to win that match? Say it was like the second,
first half.
At the second, they would have been
50-1.
Yeah, they would have been 33.
No, 40, 33, 40.
Barcelona 0, Atalanta 0, Bayer Leverkusen 1, Sparta Prague 0, Bayern Munich 1, Bratislava 0, Dortmund 2 up against Shakhtar Donetsk, Girona 1, Arsenal 2, Juventus 0, Benfica 1. That shock result: Man City 0, Club Brugge 1, Salzburg 0, Atletico Madrid 3, Sporting 0, Bologna 1, Sturm Graz 1, Leipzig 0, Stuttgart 0, PS3 3, Young Boys 0, Red Star Belgrade 0. We're still waiting for the halftime whistle to go at PSV. Still waiting for the halftime whistle to go at Lille, Inter as well, and at Villa Park, where Celtic have made an unbelievable turnaround. So the big news in the first half, really. Villa 2-0 up, cruising. Now 2-2. Barcelona, Atalanta, 4.5 goal game, 0-0 at halftime. Bayern Munich, 6.5 goal, 5.5 goal game, 1-0. The Man City losing at home to Club Brugge. And like I say, I think the second half is going to be even more wild, Steve.
Got the third and final question here to win some Bet Rivers merchandise. And I don't even know the answer to this myself. Real Madrid is backed by the most tickets to win the Champions League outright on the futures. which team is backed by the second most tickets in the futures market to win the Champions League? And who would I guess at that? If it's Real Madrid number 1, I'd probably say Barcelona at 2.
What was the question? Sorry, I didn't hear the.
Real Madrid are the most backed team.
Right.
There it is on the chat there. Put it up. There you go. Nigel, you can read that.
Right.
Which team is backed by the second most?
I would think it's got to be Man City. I would have thought.
I think Barcelona if it's
really?
Real Madrid number 1, but
it's got to be a fashionable team, isn't it? It's got to be a fashionable team. You know, the bettors like the fashionable side, so it's going to be a Man City.
It'd be interesting.
I just think everybody would have thought that Man City were just certainties to win here, so I just thought.
If you put in Arsenal here, it'd be interesting. Yeah. So I think we are at half-time by 2 or 3. Guys, there's another goal in the first half here. PSV are going to be ahead at half-time.
PSV 3-2. Wow.
What is this?
What a wild match.
Nuts game. 3-2 to PSV at half-time. So
crazy. Well, that's that's 6.5 goals now. That match on that one could go over. Minus 175.
You were right. You were right, Nigel. Manchester City is the answer.
What was that?
Second most wagered team in the futures market, Manchester City. And I'll tell you what, if the results stay the same, Bet Rivers are laughing all the way to the bank.
Do I win? Don't I win a T-shirt there? Surely, not Villa fans. I must win a T-shirt there. Surely, to be fair.
So yeah, that would be a great result for the.
Are we having a toilet break, Steve? Well, we
are. Yeah. Let me just get the 5-minute screen. Yeah, we're going to look at the halftime markets. I'm sure we'll be coming back with some halftime bets as well. Let us know what you're backing at halftime on what is already a crazy Champions League.
How many goals have we had, Toph? How many goals have we got on this night so far? How many?
6, 7,
I think it's
8,
33.
Yeah, I think that goal line at the start of the night is going to be.
It's going to be well over. It's going to be over 65 and a half. Because, if I'm saying it's going to be, you want to be betting the second half to have more goals than the first. We're going to be 70 plus tonight. It's going to be mad.
Plus 220 that was, by the way. Okay, right. We'll see you in 5 minutes, guys. Take care.
Should I hedge this bet?
Hedging is for gardens.
Hedging is for gardens. Do I look like a gardener to you?
I'm a better. I am not a gardener.
Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow?
With plus money, that's how.
With plus money. Did you change your mind?
Why did you bet in the first place?
Hedging is for gardens. Do I look like a gardener to you? With plus money. With plus
money.
Hedging is for gardens. Do I look like a gardener to you? I am a better, I am not a gardener. Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow?
With plus money.
With plus money. Hedging is for gardens. Should I hedge this bet? Hedging is for gardens. Hedging is for gardens. Do I look like a gardener to you?
I am a better. I am not a gardener.
Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow? With plus money. That's how. With plus money. Did you change your mind?
Why did you bet in the first place?
Hedging is for gardens. Do I look like a gardener to you?
With plus money.
With plus.
With plus money.
Hedging is for gardens. Hedging is for gardens. Do I look like a gardener to you? With plus money. With plus money. Hedging is for gardens. With plus money. Hedging is for gardens. Hedging is for gardens. Hedging is for gardens. Do I look like a gardener to you?
I am a better. I am not a gardener.
With plus money. With plus money. Hedging is for gardens. Hedging is for gardens.
Celtic were as big as.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. And do you know what concerns me, Nigel? Here, I've been looking through some of the stats and some of the goal lines. I actually like a couple of unders in play, which is very unlike me, Nigel. And I'm like, what am I thinking here? But that Atletico
Well, more
Madrid
importantly,
goal
what
line.
do you like? What do you like? What
I
match do
like
you like?
the Salzburg Atletico Madrid under 4.5 goals at -125. They're not the sort of team that are going to rack up the score. They've done what they need to do. Salzburg are just, well, they've been pretty terrible throughout the whole tournament. I think they'll just get up and move on. It could end 4-0. I don't see it being more than 4 now. I like that. I'm really.
Well, I mean, the Barcelona Atalanta match is the one that we saw that move. That went from 4.5 now at halftime. It's 1.5 on the total, yeah. But the tie is still available at +210. I think that at 0-0 with a tie suiting both sides, I think that's a big price because.
And the other under I like, Juventus Benfica under 2.5 at -130.
I like Inter Monaco under 3.5 at +125. No, we've already paid the 4, but I like the under 3.5 there because Monaco obviously down to 10 men. They know now really that the game's up. And Inter against AC Milan at the weekend, take a few players off. I wouldn't be surprised to see that finishing 2-0, 3-0. And this is Inter side that have only conceded 1 goal in the whole competition.
So at the minute, Sporting CP are in the hat for the next round. But if Man City were to turn it around, they'd need to get themselves a point against Bologna. I'm surprised that they are behind in that game. You can back Sporting to win the second half at -107. Now, I've not been watching it. We know they're minus Gyökeres. But I just think at some stage the motivation surely has to come into it there. But they might not need to win. They might not need to draw, and they might go through. So let's see.
I was looking at some props just on the Man City game, really. And, Man City are now -105 to win this match. So that literally, the minute Club Brugge went 1-0 up, the first line out with Bet Rivers on that match was +138. 2 minutes before half time, they scored. Now it's -105. Everybody wants to be on Man City. This is a Man City side that can't
take over 3 there.
Well, they can't concede. Now, I was looking at the corners, and I think the corners is the way to go because Man City have got to throw everything at it, right? Over 8.5 corners, so more than 6 corners in the second half is +118. I think that's got to be a bet. And I've never seen a prime Man City to get the next corner is -$9. Like that is like, can you? So that shows you the kind of game you're going to see in the second half. It's going to be all Man City, and the same with Aston Villa. Aston Villa have to come out as well. It's going to be interesting.
I did cash with the corners in the end with Leverkusen over 6.5 in the first half. That came in with 7, and it was a push with my Asian -1. I think I am going to add that Juventus Benfica under 2.5 goals as an official play at half time.
So
at -130.
My 2 picks in the first half were under 4 Inter against Monaco, and I've gone the draw in the Atalanta Barcelona match, which was +255, and I went for Girona draw no bet, which is obviously they're losing 2-1 at the moment. But I would go in again on the under 3.5 in the Inter match. I think that's definitely got to be a bet there. And I do like the over 8.5 corners in the Man City match at +112. So I'm going to add that as the bet here. And Aston Villa, the Aston Villa one is another one as well. I mean, Aston Villa, that just seems like an absolutely crazy first half. And Villa need to come out and get something from there. And I expect that ground to be absolutely rocking half time, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them throw everything at it and produce a few corners. So my official play extra one over 8.5 corners at +112 in Man City, and I've gone under 3.5 goals again on the Inter Milan. So my big position at half time, I went off there in the break and I bet under 3.5 goals Inter. So my big position on the match is playing that under match there. I think Monaco are done, and I think Inter will take it easy in the second half, get to the win, 25 minutes to go, take a few players off and bring on the Milan derby at the weekend. Matches are kicking off, Steve. We're kicking off.
I think the overs that I was considering, Man City over 3. Man City Club Brugge over 3 Asian goals. And I was also considering over 4.5 in the Stuttgart game. But I think I'm going to keep monitoring that officially on that Juventus Benfica under 2.5 at -130. And do you know what? Yes, under 4.5 RB Salzburg Atletico Madrid at -130.
We got the note of these, so we know what we're cheering on in the second half. We know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't believe I'm on 2 unders.
On a night like this, you're a changed man. You've been working too much with me over the last couple of years. That's why you're on the unders. Bayern Munich's the one that let us go away, didn't it? I mean, we were talking about 5.5 handicap, 5.5 goals pre-match, 1-0 by Bayern Munich against Slovan Bratislava. You know, do you think Milan? You know, we got some big anti-post sort of future position in Milan to make the top 8 from the newsletter. Do you think they got it in with 10 men? You think so?
They're done. Yeah, I've looked at the stats for that game. They're not in it. They're down to 10 men. Zagreb, look, I've said it before. Going to places like that, sometimes these teams produce a shock. I think Stuttgart lost 5-1 at Red Star. I mean, I sense that I think that's going to need to go 10 versus 10.
What's your what's the weather there in Zagreb at the moment?
Fine. It's about
nice.
9 degrees. So there's no excuses on the weather.
No, it's nice there. Yeah.
They just haven't turned up, and you know now they're going to have to go and play a playoff round. So,
but this is another thing, though. I guess this is another thing that comes into crucial factors like this. Manchester City have already kicked off, and they've played 4 minutes already. Loads of matches haven't kicked off. There's only been, there's Sturm Graz, there's nothing about that one. Young Boys, nothing to worry about in that one. There's nothing to play for. But Man City are in the 49th minute, and other matches, they haven't even kicked off yet. And that could prove quite, well, it doesn't prove crucial for Man City because they've just got to win. But in some of these matches, you know, teams that have got, to kick off. So the big halves here, we got some big halves. Atalanta needs to hang on. Lille are in great. Well, I mean, you know, you follow your French league. What an achievement for Lille to finish 7th.
Yeah, I'm watching that. I still think the Lille game could be a good one for overs in running. If Man City's Club Brugge, the line gets to 2.5, would that be worth taking the over, do you think, Nigel? Because Club Brugge, you've got to imagine, will have a threat on the break if City just go gung-ho.
Yeah.
And this is not a good night for this cat to be around here. It's absolute mad. Either settle down or you're going to have to go away somewhere else.
I can see that cat being...
Settle down.
Well, we will see where we are now. Right, what have we got going on? The matches, and all of them kicked off yet? We've got everything kicking off. Still, some of these matches haven't kicked off.
Well, there was plus 6 minutes added on in the Lille game. So, no, you can't go there.
I mean, Barcelona-Atalanta is a key match. You know, that's not kicked off yet. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
they need to stagger these better. They should have been delaying some of the kickoffs, I think, Nigel.
Yeah, some of these are in the 52nd minute.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of outcry, I think. Have we had a second half goal yet anywhere?
No.
No, there hasn't been a second half goal yet, has there? But, yeah.
I think with
Young
these
boys, Red Star, were you tempted with the under?
Well, it was 1.5 though, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes when you've got a match like this where it's 1.5, I think my attitude is go for the under half. You know, just try go bigger. You know, the chances are it being 0-0. You know, these two sides have just go through the motions, aren't they? Really, so even like a new manager, a defensive-minded Italian manager, I think there's more chance of that game. You know, for value purposes, I think you might as well go half a line. I'm sitting next to Neil Channing here, and Neil. I remember Neil's years ago if he'd ever liked the match, and it was like a 2.5 match and the line, he would always go. If he thought it was going to go over, he'd go over the 3.5 because if the goals were high, there was more. You know, the better value. If you're going to get it right, you could go really over rather than just go for the 2.5. And that looks like a match there where the reason why we're betting the under 1.5 goals was you think there's a probability that the game will just fizzle out to a 0-0 draw. So you might as well go big or go home. Just go for the under half a goal.
Has Neil got a bet at half time? Neil,
what's your bet at half time, Neil? What do you like?
I faded Man City.
He's gone against Man City.
Has he?
The price is wrong. What else have we got?
I played I liked your under 3.5 Inter.
He loves the under in the Inter.
And I played. That was all I played at half time.
So under 3.5 Inter and fading Man City. Very brave, very brave, very brave.
Brave or stupid?
I won't answer that. I won't answer that. So where we are now, still Barcelona have just scored.
Ooh.
1-0 against Atalanta. Now that changes things massively at the top. Atalanta
are going to have to open
12.
up now.
Yeah, well, that now has got that now looking at overs that could change the whole. Well, it's put to Borussia Dortmund and now have gone into 8th. Where Borussia Dortmund got to the final last year. Well, much the better team against Real Madrid. Now they're in the automatic positions in 8th, and Atalanta have dropped from that 8th position to 12th. So quite a precarious position for them, and they've scored early doors. Barcelona and Barcelona, that win now, or that goal there, sent Barcelona to the top of the table. They've overtaken Liverpool. Liverpool obviously losing 3-2 is second, and Barcelona are top of the table with 7 wins and 1 draw if it goes. What happens with the is there actually big prize money if you win it?
Well, I was thinking that I think there is something if you're first or second. I think beyond that, I don't know if first will play potentially 24th or whatever. But this cat is going wild here. He's not used to it.
He's on the unders. He's on the unders. He's on Milan to qualify. That's why Man City have just scored. Neil Channing's he's not very happy. He's just put his head on the hands.
I've not seen this goal yet. I've just put it on. Club Brugge are in possession on my stream, Nigel, but I'm a bit behind.
Yeah, Man City have scored. They've gone 1-1.
Right.
And Shakhtar Donetsk have gone against Shakhtar Donetsk have gone 1-0 up. 2-1 against Dortmund. Dortmund were 2-0 up. And the goal for Kovacic.
Kovacic?
Yeah.
Nice finish, actually, from Kovacic.
Yeah. So they're 1-1.
So I wanted that to stay 1-0 for longer.
Yeah. So that's 1-1 there. We got... I would like that to have been... There's been 2 corners in the first 8 minutes of that second half, though. Over the 8.5, there was 2 at half time, and there's now 4. So
yeah,
you wanted that to be 1-0 for the. If it was 1-0 for the next 15, 20 minutes, that 8.5 would cover. But the goal might have come too early for anyone who's took that prop bet on the corners. But you wanted that a little bit earlier. So big news now, Man City. Let's have a look at the qualification tables. I mean, Dortmund have just conceded, which is put a precarious position. And if Dortmund concede again,
they always concede, don't they?
What if they go 2-2? That means that Bayern Munich go into automatic 8.
Wow, this would be a big. I mean, Bayern, I think had to overtake about 7 teams.
Yeah, well, they're up to 9th at the moment now. On
suddenly Bayern Munich here, it's worth them racking up the score, isn't it?
Well, Real Madrid as well. Real Madrid are only 1 goal behind Bayern Munich in 10th. And if Dortmund can concede a goal, then it's a shootout between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid to see who gets that final position there. So that's another really interesting.
I mean, the Milan result has just upset everything. Villa, obviously, if they win, they're in, aren't they, as well? So, suddenly all eyes on the Bayern game. Bayern could actually do with beating Slovan up here now.
I'll just give you some other little thing here. I think if Man City come back and win this match, right, I think they will go to. I think they go equalised. I think they go 22nd, which means the way this is setting out that obviously there's a long way to go. But if they've got a goal here and winning, you could be looking at a Real Madrid Man City showdown.
2-0 Zagreb. That was one of the best future picks I've honestly thought I'd picked out there, and they go to Zagreb and lose 2-0.
That is
no reward, Nigel.
This is interesting what Max has said there. Sparta now have better odds to win now than the start. Now they're 1-0 down, and that is you don't usually see that quite. That's very rare against Bayer Leverkusen. And then they're the big.
Well, they nearly equalised. That's why I think. Just looking at the commentary for the game, they should have equalised against Bayer Leverkusen.
So Zagreb are 2-0 up, are they?
Yeah, 2-0 to Dinamo Zagreb. Apparently, VAR. There's a VAR. Yeah,
check. I think it's been disallowed, Steve, because I'm not quite sure if it stands because there's been no change on the odds yet on the Bet Rivers app. So I'm not quite sure if that
Tell you what, Club Brugge have just had 2 shots on target here since conceding the equaliser. They're up for this. They're offering a threat on the break here, Club Brugge. What's this goal line now? Because my gut tells me to get on the overs here.
You're going to be higher than it. It's going to be 3.5, but heavy minus, isn't it? Surely.
But what I don't want is get on the over and Man City win 2-1. They're all happy and I'm losing.
It's 3.5, but it's not really heavy. Over 3.5 is minus 122. Unders minus 108.
3.25 over. I'd take it maybe, but not 3.5.
Yeah. I mean, Villa now Celtic 2-2 minus 121 for Villa. I mean, that will be if that if Villa miss out on qualifying for the Champions League after being 2-0 up to last 8, and against Celtic, that could have a big knock-on effect for them in the league. Selling their players as well. I don't understand why. Brest have equalised against Real Madrid. That's a big goal. We said at the beginning of the night 1.5 Asian was a big price, and Brest have just equalised there. So if they win, they will be qualifying. If they can get a winner
so
here.
Brest are back in the mixer as well now.
Brest are back in the mix, and Real Madrid have dropped now. I mean, we were looking as though that Real Madrid could be playing Manchester City when Real Madrid dropped down to 15th from 9th. So Bayern Munich are still occupying 10th. So Brest are now in the shake-up, and that could be a feisty affair, that match there, because Brest needs to. Zagreb was still waiting. Zagreb goal disallowed, Steve. So you still got a chance.
VAR check on Brest as well.
Oh,
so that isn't absolutely confirmed. Yeah, still got a chip in a chair with the AC Milan. I mean, I'm desperate for the referee to make it 10 versus 10 there. Then that would really upset the apple cart, wouldn't it?
But there hasn't been, these matches are now 10 minutes into the second half. There hasn't been the early goal amount that we would have hoped, or if you're playing on the overs, you wouldn't have hoped. We were talking and thinking we're going to get a lot of goals in the second half. There hasn't been one. PSG have gone 4-0 up.
4-0
against Stuttgart. This was the match. If you didn't join the show earlier, it was the match that everybody had the sort of conspiracy theory that the match would be a draw. It was plus 170. Wow. The shortest price on the draw would have gotten through at PSG, making a big statement here. Do you agree with Lewis? Do you think that, now Brest goals disallowed? AC Milan have scored, Steve.
Have they?
AC Milan have scored.
Hello.
I told you.
The 10 men have equalised. What the heck?
I told you, I've told you that the 10 men they've got a chance. So
now
really,
that changes it. Now is
they're
that
in?
a match
They're
for
seventh.
overs now?
They're seventh, and that means Dortmund now drop out to 9th. So the top 8 as we stand: Barcelona top, Liverpool 2nd, Arsenal 3rd, Inter 4th, Atletico Madrid 4th, Bayer Leverkusen Inter Milan 4th, Atletico Madrid 5th.
Hold on, I forgot the draw's not bad for Milan.
They're in 7th now, Steve. They're qualifying.
So they might take at the minute.
Well, at the moment, if they can the draw sees them through all the teams below. The only way they can drop out is if Villa will overtake them. I think. Villa will overtake them with a goal for Villa, and that's it. I mean, if it stays like this,
Club Brugge. I'd say this lot are a big, massive threat on the break. Club Brugge. I thought they'd scored. They're a huge threat on the break. They look more likely to score than Man City right now. How do I get the most out of this game?
Well, I think you might have to take Man City on the money line, because if Man City have got to get the goal, they can leave themselves open, and we know that this season how many goals they've conceded. I mean, what are they on the money line? I mean, Man City on the money line.
The shots are coming in everything here. I mean, I know people can bet on shots. That would be something to look at. What's the corners as well? Man City are minus 195. Club Brugge are plus 1050. Tie plus 215. Maybe bet Brugge. I mean, the goal line is 3.5 overs. 3.25 goal line at minus 143. Minus 136. Now that is an official play for me. There you go. Definitely. 3.25 goals. We're looking at the top of the table. This is the difference between you and I. You're looking at the Man City game, the biggest match going, the goals going in at the top end of the table. I'm concentrating on Young Boys Red Star Belgrade, where the 0-0 is getting really, really short. The tie is plus 133. The natives aren't happy. And I'm going to go for it. Wouldn't be a Champions League show if we never had a 0-0 cheer. So we are going to play the under half a goal, Young Boys against Red Star at plus 215. So that's what we're doing. Official play, Young Boys, new manager, Italian manager,
been boring the place out since he's been in charge. Red Star Belgrade, they're both going to end. They're fizzling out their league. 13 corners in that match.
2-0 Sturm Graz.
Sturm Graz 2-0. That's
Go on, one more goal there. I'll get the push on that over 3. I'm surprised by how poor Leipzig have been there, actually. Got to be honest.
That is a bit of a shock because we both said at the start.
Dinamo Zagreb have scored.
Oh no. It's changing again.
This is just getting crazy. Right, where was I going to look at? Oh, City have scored now.
Man City
have scored. Lucky. They are lucky to be ahead here. I might take these guys on, you know. I mean, I already am with the goal line.
The way that the Man City season is going, like nothing is like
what's the
set
double
in
chance
stone,
here
is it?
now? Double chance on Club Brugge.
But Club Brugge are actually is there any way that Club Brugge are going to qualify even if they lose? Because Stuttgart, I mean, Dynamo Zagreb. Zagreb was scored. You say Zagreb were 2-1 up?
No, it's been chalked off apparently, according to
right.
Klebo. So there's so many disallowed goals in that game. Lille have scored a 3rd goal against Feyenoord. Real Madrid. Hold on, I thought Brest didn't equalise, did they?
No,
it's 2-0
it's allowed as well.
Apparently.
I mean, it's all over the place now. Some of these matches. Real 2-0 up. Real Madrid are 2-0 up now.
Yeah,
So
Man City. If it ends 3-1 Man City, I'll cash that over. But I'm looking at the draw double chance here on. And this cat is annoying me. You're going to have to get down because I'm trying
Bayern Munich v Slovan Bratislava, still 3.5 goal line, Steve.
Yeah, I mean 1-0. I mean that's a big surprise.
39 minutes left in the match, and 1-0, and the only way you're losing is 3 goals in 39 minutes.
Is that the sort of match though? If Slovan, I mean, I'm not watching it, but could Slovan just completely collapse late on?
No, I don't think so. I think that's 3.5 goal line with 39 minutes to go. I think that's a very, very high price. Right, let's have a look where we are because this is going to get down to the crucial stages now. So, top AC Milan in 7. That's a big cheer for us. That's our big cheers. Liverpool. Have you got Dortmund match? Dortmund. There's not really much can happen now, really, unless Villa are the big match. So Villa need to win. A Villa goal shakes it up at the top. Man City now into 22nd. Sporting Lisbon are hanging on to 24th, but a Zagreb goal will knock Sporting Lisbon out and put Zagreb in. And they're really the positions now we're looking at now in this match. So going into the second half. So Zagreb is the interesting one. That's the big interesting match here at the top and the bottom. Because if it stays 1-1, Milan are in the knockout stages, in the last 8, and Zagreb miss out. If Zagreb score and go 2-1 up, that will put them into the final 24 at the expense of Sporting Lisbon, and Milan will drop out. And the other one that's interesting at the moment is Lille fans do not want Aston Villa to score. If Aston Villa come back and win this game 2-2.
What's the goal line now for Villa? Because we're getting to the stage where Villa need a goal.
They have to get it
over 5. Over 5 is it? Now?
5.5 goals is plus 5.5 is plus 148.
Ooh, maybe the 5 Asian line might be worth it if it goes down to 5. Then we only need 1 more goal for a push.
What have we got on the corner? I mean, the corners. I like the corners in those markets. When teams are going, Villa have scored. 3-2 Villa.
Yeah, you snooze, you lose sometimes with these.
Now that moves Villa now into the 8. So that will put them up at the expense of Lille, and now. The only way that I think at the top now, the Milan game is the one.
Ollie Watkins.
Well, I mean, I think that can you believe that they're actually contemplating selling him to Arsenal? I mean, it doesn't make it.
If Villa sell him, that'd be silly. That would.
They're pinning their hopes on Duran rather than him. I think that's a very, very strange move.
Zagreb have scored.
Zagreb have scored, Steve.
This is like the 5th time they've scored. Let's hope it gets chalked off again.
It's not your. All those cats' lives you got there have run out. Zagreb have scored.
I wonder if.
That's a massive goal because Zagreb now go into the knockouts, into the last 24 ahead of Sporting Lisbon, and it knocks our bet Milan down to 12th. So Villa are now in at 7th, Lille are 8th. And the only thing that changes is now all this now is this Milan game. Milan get a draw. They go into the last 8. Zagreb are the 24th team with that win, which has taken Sporting Lisbon out. Sporting Lisbon will not qualify. If Sporting Lisbon get a goal. So Sporting Lisbon now match is an interesting one because Sporting Lisbon have to come back and get something from that match. They got no Gokares. They're struggling. So the Sporting Lisbon game now is massive because if they don't get a goal, they're out the Champions League. A draw could be enough for them here. So you're talking about teams now in the next few minutes who are really, really going for it. They've got to go for it. Sporting Lisbon, I've got to go for it massively. And they're up against a side that are already out of the tournament in Bologna. So on the money line, Sporting Lisbon are plus 650. The tie is plus 225. And the total on that match is 1.5. It's only 1-0, but it's very heavy on the over and minus 220. So Sporting have got to really go all out here.
Yeah, they do have to go all out. Atletico Madrid 4-0. That's not what I wanted to see. I think it's their first shot on target in the second half. Stop the count, Atletico. That'll do.
How many
4-0.
corners have we had in this Man City match? Let's have a look at that. I mean, that was the. We have had five. So, on the Man City, with 3 in the second half. We had 2 in the first 10 minutes, but on the back of them, when they're chasing for the win. Now they've got the win. It's like, but the annoying thing about this Man City Club Brugge match for both perspectives is that as it stands, both of them will still be in the competition.
I know.
So
yeah. But they don't know it yet.
I always believe that they probably will. I don't think they know definitely. I mean, especially in like a night like this, you're not going to get messages every single second saying that with all the goals going in. But I do think that there'll be some kind of things get to the players that they know that they're doing okay. But we'll see. But Sporting Lisbon, they're the one now who need to get signed from me. I mean, Bologna could be quite a vulnerable. What's the stats on that match? I mean, let's have a look at the stats.
They've only had 8 in the second half. They've had 2 shots and 2 on target. XG of 0.06.
Well,
Bologna have had the better of the second half.
Well, if Gokares was on the side, I think I'd have on the bench.
Surely they've got to give it everything, though, haven't they? Yeah. What's the goal line there now? We're at 1.5. We won't be at 1.5 level yet, will we? But Villa should have another there. Oh, they missed an absolute sitter.
By Leverkusen, a 2-0 up against Sparta Prague. A goal's gone in there. So the total goals on the night so far, we are looking
penalty to AC Milan.
Oh, here we go. What a Milan.
Is this going to be the crazy game, Nige? If this goes in,
well, this is the most important. This match now, even as the game goes on, this is the most important match in play now. Zagreb Milan, because Zagreb are holding on to that final 24 position, and Milan need a draw to get into the last 8. So this is the one that both sides will be. I wouldn't be surprised to see more cards or anything. This is the
biggest. Just feels like this is really getting crazy. Like Zagreb are giving it another shot on target for Club Brugge. They're giving it a right good go here, Club Brugge.
But while all this action is going on, Young Boys and Red Star Belgrade still remain 0-0. Hasn't been a shot on target. This is what proper Champions League football is about. The 0-0 Young Boys. Forget what's going on at the Etihad. Forget about that. Young Boys against Red Star Belgrade, 0-0. That's what I like to see.
I wonder if... No. I was looking at Club Brugge plus a half goal there in play, just to lose by 1 goal or better. And that's minus 118. But
have they missed the pen, Steve?
Oh no, have they missed it?
I don't know what's happened.
I don't know. I'm not watching it, and and the chat will know.
Oh no, it's still. They're checking the VAR to see whether it's a penalty. So we don't know whether it's a pen. I mean, this is a wild match. I mean, the amount of goals that have been disallowed and various things. But it's the most important match of the night now, and it could get even more crazier.
It's not a penalty.
No?
Apparently now. Called off due to an earlier foul. Oh, the deadlock is broken in Bern. Red Star.
Red Star have gone 1-0 up in Young Boys. Oh, dear. The 0-0 detector.
There won't be a 0-0.
No, there's not going to be a 0-0 tonight, no. Well, do you know what? I don't think it is. Atalanta have scored against Barcelona 1-1. Now does that mean? Well, no, they need a win. No, it's been ruled out. The Atalanta goal.
It's getting ruled out everywhere, isn't there? That's the problem now with VAR. You see a goal go in, you think there's more chance of it being disallowed than actually scored.
How many disallowed goals have we had tonight? There must be a market. Must be a market on how many disallowed. Aston Villa have a penalty, yeah? Another penalty at Villa.
Shall we go blind on over 1.75 Sporting Bologna? Is that really going to end 1-0 to Bologna?
No.
Like, logic
I'd
would
rather,
say
but
either-
I think that could be a real crazy one. That if Sporting Lisbon get back to 1-1, they could go on and win it like with a late goal because they're pumped. So I wouldn't rule out a small wager on Sporting actually to win that match. I know they're without their main man, but anyway, Atalanta 1-1. That means that Barcelona drop from the top, and Liverpool retain that top position, and Atalanta are ninth. If Atalanta can get a win, get a goal, they're important. This is an important game now. Atalanta need to win. But Barcelona obviously certain to qualify. They're second. Nothing will change. Atalanta win. They're in the knockout stages in the last 8. And that will be at the expense of Lille, who are just hanging on at the moment in 8th position. So Atalanta now have got, they have to go all out for the win as well. So
Watkins has missed a penalty.
Ollie Watkins. I told you he was useless. Maybe I should be selling him to Arsenal, didn't I? I said that.
What happened? I think he slipped. He slipped on the run up.
John Terry style.
Yeah, worse than that.
Inter Milan have scored. And that's not a great goal for me. Inter Milan going to go 3-0 up against Monaco. Hopefully that's it now. Milan have got the Milan derby at the weekend. Take them off. That'll do 3-0. We don't want any more goals. That'll do for them.
I think Ollie Watkins was auditioning for the kicker position in the Super Bowl. That's gone way over the sticks. Way over the sticks.
3-0 Inter. I mean, let's have a look at. So really, like the Sporting Lisbon game against Bologna is that there's a lot of games now that come into non-events. I mean, the big favourites, nothing's really happening. The Zagreb Milan is still huge. Milan need a draw as we stand. Atalanta need to win against Barcelona. That's massive match. So Barcelona Atalanta is a huge match. Inter, sorry, that's nothing. Zagreb Milan is huge, and Sporting Lisbon against Bologna. They are the 3 matches now that are.
Oh my
are
God!
crucial.
City have had 2 off the line. How have my over not cashed there yet? Haaland had one off the line, and then someone else. Crazy how it's still only 2-1 here.
There's been 6 corners in that match. Club Brugge just got a corner, so we went over the 8.5 at half time. So we're not looking too bad. How many goals have we had now?
I'm definitely going to look to strike somewhere before we're done here.
This tick at the bottom here, John's not updating these scores. He's got to be quicker than these. He's got to go down the bar. He's got to make sure he updates.
John, can we have an updated table?
Come on,
please,
John.
mate?
Come on, yeah, please. Can you update it? Yeah.
But I'm just looking at the table now myself, and I mean it's tight, isn't it? Like 1 goal here or there in certain games.
Well,
making a big difference.
It's those 3 matches that we sort of highlighted there. Now they're the key matches, and they're where you want to be focusing for betting, really, because they are the ones that could change everything, and they're the ones that goals are going to be found out and where we need to head. So yeah, that's exactly where you want to be.
Stuttgart could actually still go through if Club Brugge equalise and Zagreb concede. So it's still. Even though they're 4-0 down, I mean, they're out of that game now. They're just looking at results elsewhere. Just looking at the top end of the table. Still, it's 2-0 Bayern Munich, sorry, now, isn't it?
Oh, is it 2-0 now?
2-0. I don't know when that goal was scored, but wow. Let's just see what's going on.
How many goals have we had now? 49, I think it is. So
I'm watching the Sporting game.
49. Would you think that would be? Has there been a goal in Sporting because Bet Rivers has suspended the market? Something might have happened there.
The last time I've not seen a goal yet.
Might be. Is there some incident Sporting Lisbon?
It's just a goal kick, but I'm probably about 20 ticks behind. I'm just trying to watch the game to see if I'm getting a feel for it being frantic. It doesn't feel frantic. Sporting are just passing the ball around leisurely. I mean, what?
The market's closed. I mean. Barcelona, Atalanta, the draw is a +1 or 2. A draw's no good for them. Zagreb -315 on the money line. That Milan at 14-1 and the tie at 320. I mean, Zagreb at -315. This crazy match does seem a little bit on the low side to me there.
But it was a yellow card. That's what it was. A card in the Sporting game.
Oh, okay.
Bologna really come and sort of been the party poopers here so far.
Sporting Lisbon at 950 to win this match. Bologna plus minus 205 and the tie plus 235. Still though, we're in the 73rd minute, over 1.5 goals, minus 155.
Do you know what? It's minus 106 for over. No, minus 155 for over 1.5. I'm just going to back it blind when it gets to even tonight. I don't actually fancy another goal here from watching.
Barcelona have scored. They're 2-1 up against Atalanta, which is a bad goal for Atalanta to concede. So that knocks them out, or that knocks them right back down to 13th. They was in contention of getting into that top 8 now. And the only match now really is that Milan. If Milan can equalise, Steve, they go into the top 8 on goals scored ahead of Lille. Unless Lille score, then there'll be exactly the same goals. And if they've both got 15. It'll be that could come down to goal difference. Lille against AC Milan in that final 8 spot if Milan can equalise. So now Milan needs to come back and win it.
So Milan, if they do equalise, they can't just settle for that, can they? Unless
Sporting need a goal.
And there's the third goal for Man City, so that over 3.25 did cash.
So Man City 3-1 now.
Yeah, so that's a winner for me. I wonder what Bruges will do now.
Who got the goal?
I think it was one of is it Savinho, Nunes, someone like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is wild because Club Bruges they're getting 3-1 by Man City, and
they've played well with Club Bruges here. Like Man City have genuinely looked really vulnerable, as they have all season. To be fair, like when they don't have the ball, Man City are a liability. I think.
Well, Club Bruges are. Yeah, well, they're going to get through because Zagreb have got such.
Could they score again? I wonder if they might score again here, though. Although Man City now will just try and control the game, won't they, at 3-1? I'm not sure they'll even risk as much going for the fourth goal. So I think that might be the end of any betting there for me in that game now.
A lot of these matches now sort of are coming to the end, and you think to yourself, well, they just there's not really, you're second guessing sort of motivation now. I mean, really, a lot of these teams have done what they had to do. They've got in their positions, and there's only like 2 or 3. The thing that does surprise me, I'll tell you one thing that's surprised me tonight, with so much at stake and so much money and high intensity and various things, there's only been 1 red card. A good goal for me. Girona have just scored against Arsenal, 2-2. That's
tell you what, Bologna look more like scoring here. But my gut feeling in Sporting Bologna is to take over 1.5. In fact, I don't.
Big goal. Lille have scored again. That's a good result for Lille. 4-1 at home to Feyenoord. That's a great result for them. I mean, that helps them out.
Mm. Yeah, I'm going to take that over 1.5 goals. Sporting Bologna at minus 124 official bet. Having watched the game, it doesn't look amazing, but just based on game state, Sporting have to go for it. They have to at some point.
Yeah, they've got to.
The last 10. Over 1.5 goals, official pick, 1 minus 124. And I think that is where the betting might end for me.
I don't know if I lost you. Did I lose you there a second, Steve?
You might have done, yeah.
Yeah, I pressed I was getting so excited trying to look at the latest table. I pressed the Wi-Fi button and turned myself off the Wi-Fi in a very split second. So I apologise for that. But Lille now 4-1. That's a real big win. I mean, you're an excellent judge of the French league. I mean, is that a surprise?
Well, I've just sent over a hot dog pick for tomorrow's recording with Dan Roebuck, and I'm going Saint Etienne draw no bet against Lille, and I think I might scrap that now. Genuinely.
Well, can I just tell you something? This is quite important if you're betting an AC Milan match, because that Lille goal now means that Lille are on 16 points and their goal difference is 5 plus 5. That means now that if AC Milan get the draw, they will go on 16 points, but a goal difference of 4. So they won't even qualify even with a draw. Milan need to win now. That extra goal from Lille has given. They started off tonight as a 2-goal, plus 2 goal difference, and Milan started as a plus 4 goal difference. And that means now that goal they've just scored to make it 4-1 means that even if AC Milan draw, they will not force their way into the 8. So the 8 places now pretty much look as though they're
They've
destined
equalised
to be.
Sporting. There you go. Did you hope people managed to get on?
I think they're
Over
about to
1.5.
win it, Sporting Lisbon. 10,
There it goes.
It's
I mean,
1-1 now. They've just scored 1-1. They were 10-1, and
catch
they
that
need.
one.
Well, that's knocked Zagreb out. So Zagreb now, Milan might know that. Well, Milan have got to win. Zagreb now know they can't, even at 2-1 with that Sporting goal. Zagreb are done. So Milan now need to win, and they're playing a side now that know that even if they win, they can't go through. So we might see a crazy turnaround in Milan. I think we could see a crazy turnaround in Lisbon as well. I mean that Lisbon price at 10-1, and now they're what are they now? They're favourites.
So over 3.5 goals is -110. Dinamo Zagreb, AC Milan. I think that's a bet now as well. There's 14 minutes to go. There's probably quite a bit of injury time with the VAR stuff.
Lille have just scored against Steve 5-1. So that means Milan have to win. They've got to win, and Zagreb are out. Zagreb are out.
Yeah.
There's a non-event, so they're all all that hard work they've done. You might see here like a crazy 25 minutes. So that game there is. So Zagreb are -385. Milan are 20-1 to win this match, +370 to draw.
You having a piece? 20-1?
No, if they were, I'd bet them at say 10-1 with 11 players, but the 10 men is worrying me. I think the over 3.5.
They're having a go here, to be fair.
The over 3.5 at -114 is a bet.
I think that's got to be an official play from us, hasn't it?
That's the bet.
Yeah.
That's the bet. Over
Yeah, I agree with
3.5.
that.
Zagreb.
Yeah.
And then
Minus
you've got the other way, where Sporting Lisbon now, they're there. So would they settle for a draw? Or do they want to go for the win? I mean, the bet I should have had really when we realised Sporting Lisbon needed to go, which probably took a chance on them at 10s. Barcelona and Atalanta have just equalised 2-2. That was good for our bet there.
Well, Sporting didn't even look like equalising, Nigel.
Well, we were saying about that Barcelona match. They're saying that the over 4.5, or it was 0-0 at half time. It's 4 goals, and the 4.5 could be right. But Sporting Lisbon are +260 now on the money line, and they were +10. I think Sporting Lisbon here could be a decent.
Stuttgart are on the board. They are not dead quite yet. 4-1 down. Drawbackers are still alive. Just would be some draw from there, wouldn't it? But yeah, the Atalanta have equalised. So the goal line now of 4 has held up, hasn't it? Overall, didn't look like it.
Yeah, this is interesting now. Atalanta now is 2-2. If Atalanta win and go in the take the lead against a Barcelona side that have already qualified in second, an Atalanta goal will put them up to 6 and it will knock Aston Villa out. So Atalanta now need to go all out for the win. So that match now is a match that there's going to be only one team up for that, and that'll be Atalanta against Barcelona. I mean, looking at these matches here, I mean, all these goals going in all over the place.
Well, Benfica scored. That's not good for me, but hopefully that'll be the end of the scoring.
And there's only one draw, and that is that match where we bet the draw. Actually, official play was the draw in the Atalanta.
Dan Roebuck's not happy right now, is he?
He's not happy.
He's worrying.
Oh, actually, there's 2 draws, but Sporting Lisbon are drawn as well. So there's two matches that have been a draw at the moment in this match, and only one red card. I thought the Real Madrid 3-0 up now against Brest.
Yeah, I mean that strong lineup held up there, didn't it, against Brest?
Yeah.
Brest have had 18 shots in that game, by the way. So they've it looks like they've given it a good crack.
So let's have a look at the official plays that I've given tonight. I've gone under 4 goals into Monaco, currently 3-0. Under 3.5 in that match, currently 3-0. Under a half a goal in the Red Star Belgrade, which is losing. Girona draw no bet 2-2 on a push, and we got the draw at +255. So at the moment we're looking okay, and we got over 8.5 corners in the Man City game. I think we might struggle with that because of Man City getting the goals quite early. But and you're doing all right, aren't you?
Yeah, just the only thing it's doing badly is the newsletter, because the newsletter pick is the over 3 for Sturm Graz. That looks like it's a damp squib now. And obviously AC Milan, although, they're not quite dead. Let's see if AC Milan can get back in this game. I mean, I think fair play Zagreb here. They played really well. And there's something about these locations, Nigel, like not Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia. They can just come up with a good night, can't they, sometimes?
Listen to this score, Steve. Lille 6, Feyenoord 1. Bayern Munich had gone 3-0 up. So that's.
I'm gonna have to change that hot dog, aren't I? I'm betting against Lille this weekend. I can't have that.
No, to keep it because that's a good time to oppose them. The fact that they've won 6-1 and they're full of it and they've qualified for the Champions League, it's a great time to oppose them at the weekend. They're going to be absolutely partying. They're a club like that would never expect them to be in the top. They finished 7th and won 6-1.
Do you know what the XG for Lille is here? Right, this just shows you how laughable XG is. 0.85 XG.
For 0.85 XG, they've got 6 goals.
They've scored 6 goals.
Wow. I mean, shows you.
One wasn't own goals, but that would have been.
I'm not going to give you my comments on that rubbish, but there you go. But yeah, I mean, so I think now we're approaching 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes away. Aston Villa fans, or we've got an Aston Villa fan in the group who's already won a competition tonight. He does not want Atalanta to score. Atalanta now is the match where Villa fans will be watching. They've done their bit. They're 3-2 up against Celtic, but Atalanta now is a.
We don't want another goal there either, do we?
No,
we want with Desmond Milan.
Yeah. 61 goals, I think, and the line was 60.
Someone backed over 6.5. Lille Feyenoord at 22-1.
Really?
Well done to that bettor, whoever that is. Fair play.
I mean,
over 6.5. Probably listening to Lewis yesterday.
He's over, man. They've hit 2.5 and he's cashed 6-1. I mean, unbelievable scenes there. But yeah, 6-1. So Club Brugge. So if Zagreb, I mean Club Brugge, Zagreb have done really. Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, I mean now really everything is on.
Well, we just need to see if Milan can equalise.
That's it. No. But even if they equalise, Steve, they're not going to go. They're not going to go into the automatic spot. Even if they win, So if they equalise, they're going to be +4 goal difference, and Villa are +6, and Lille are now +7. So they're not going to. And if they win, they will be qualified. So the only way Milan are going to get through is a win, but an Atalanta goal will see them qualify in the top 8 at the expense of Aston Villa. So that's really Milan need to win it, and Atalanta need a goal. Everything else, I think now as we stand, I don't see. Zagreb are done. Even if they win 3 or 4-1, they're done. Bruges are 3-1 down. There's got to be a 4-goal turnaround and goal difference in that. None of the teams from behind Zagreb can come through. Sporting are in with a draw. So pretty much everything is done apart from that final spot, and that's between Aston Villa, Atalanta, and AC Milan.
That would be big for Villa if they can get in the top 8 here. I think that would be great for them. I mean, not many would have had them down, would they, as a candidate to be top 8 at the start of this?
Well, they started off so well, didn't they? The win against Bayern
Lille as well. To be fair, that is some.
That's to me the big one. I mean, they're the team. So that's the big one. So the Man City game now is 3-1. They've done what they had to do. Left it late. 3-1 in. How many corners we had? We're in the 90th minute. That's going to be the first match over. I don't think I'm going to cash the 8.5, am I?
Which one?
6. I mean, there was the goal too early. So that's a loser. So that's lost. Inter Milan is currently 3-0, 2 minutes to go.
Stay that way.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that. I don't think you're going to see much crazy activity in the next few minutes because pretty much everyone knows their fate now, apart from those key matches.
I think RB Leipzig, by the way, to only get 3 points from this group stage, that's a disgrace for them. And to lose away to an Austrian team is a disgrace in itself. But
yeah, especially the season that the Austrians have been having. I mean, it's been awful,
shocking, woeful. So
yeah. I mean, Barcelona, Atalanta still that's the big match.
That's what we're waiting on.
That's it. That's the whole night, really. I mean, Aston Villa fans, or anyone Villa, you want to be watching what's going on in that match because that is the one that's going to get you through. But let's have a look at. I'll tell you what. Let's have a look at these. So I mean, at the moment, I don't think much is going to change. 61 goals. So that's 65, and they're not far off, was it? I think I said 63 goals, didn't I? I said 63.
You set a line at 62.5.
Yeah, it's been 61. I'm not
Incredible.
bad at this, am I? 62 and a half.
Not bad,
60.
not bad.
I tell you what, this is. Let me just get these. The way we stand now in the Champions League qualifiers and get to the last 16, Man City will be playing Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid will be playing Celtic. AC Milan will play Juventus, and I'm pretty much certain that it's the 9th through the 24th.
Hey, there's a goal
Where
for Slovan Bratislava, win to nil back as a done for in the Bayern game. Slovan Bratislava have scored.
Yep.
At the minute, as it well, there
Steve,
could be VAR.
Just you might know this better than me. So the way this works is that the 9th play the 24th, the 10th play the 23rd, the 11th play the 22nd, and so on. Yeah.
I don't know. I actually don't know. Nigel,
I think that is. I mean, if anyone, I'm sure that is how it works.
I've been bamboozled by it.
Well, if that's how it works, that goal that Bayern Munich have just conceded has knocked them down to 12th, which means Bayern Munich would be playing Manchester City, but it's knocked Real Madrid up. So if it stays that way, Real Madrid are going to be playing Man City.
Man City 3, Club Brugge 1 is a final score.
6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that will mean so that goal that Bayern Munich have just conceded there has seen Bayern Munich drop to Real Madrid go above them on goal difference, which means that if that is the case, Real Madrid are 11th and Manchester City are 22nd, which means Real Madrid will face Man City in the showdown.
I tell you what, there's going to be some big matchups.
Oh, Duncan Evans saying it is a draw. Okay, it is a draw. Okay, I thought it was like that way, so I'm not sure. There is going to be some big matchups. So we've got. I gave you a quote of under and over 62 and a half goals in the Champions League. We're into injury time. There's been 62 goals.
Brilliant. So it's 2-0. Barcelona and Atalanta. That is where we got a lot of eyes. Milan trying to get back level here. They've huffed and they've puffed, but they're just. I think Zagreb are like beavers here. They really play well. Do you know?
It's mad, isn't it? Really, you think they've just beaten AC Milan, had the best win of some of these players' career, giving it everything, and they're not going to qualify. No, it's like
Salzburg have scored. This is why I don't bet unders very often, Nigel, because you get stupid stuff like this.
What did you say? Stupid
why? Stupid stuff like this. Who would be an unders better?
Me.
Why are they even keeping going at 4-0 down?
Because we're picking the right ones. We're picking the game between. I shouldn't be saying that. Could be famous last words.
+2 was added if scored in the last minute. That is why unders. I hate unders so much.
So now 63 goals is the total. The Bet Rivers line was 65, wasn't it, at the house specials if you played the overs. So Atalanta still 2-2. Inter Milan still 3-0 for us. Liverpool have had a player sent off at PSV.
Really?
So it's 2. Yeah.
How silly is that?
Yeah, but
that is absolutely silly, isn't it? Nallo, who's he?
Who?
Nallo. Someone called Nallo.
Never
heard of him.
He's only been on the pitch 5 minutes. He's just come on for his debut. Been on the pitch for 5 minutes. He's been sent off.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, I don't think.
Well, he's just literally been on the pitch for 5 minutes and been given a red card. Yeah, I mean, this is now. Yeah. Wouldn't it be heartbreak for Villa fans if Atalanta score here?
Well, there's been a big injury in the game, so this could be we could be 10 more minutes here before the match finishes in Barcelona. Actually, late penalty for Arsenal apparently against Girona. I'm surprised Arsenal rocked up and going to win that game. Actually,
well, they got to win. They got to score it first. Man, that Arsenal got a pen.
Yeah, it's been an interesting night. It's that's Salzburg. Literally scored with the last kick of the game. Why would they?
Welcome to that's my world.
That's why I don't bet unders, Nigel, very often, because there's too much heartbreak, and if that kept happening to me, that would just knock my head. I want to be celebrating
character building, Steve.
Oh, I couldn't. That would do that sort of consistency. I still think that was the right bet. There's hardly been a shot on target in the second half, but they come.
Mate, the failures make you. Trust me, the amount of them last-minute goals when you're betting unders actually make you stronger. I know it's a tough lesson to learn. I'd rather have a nice rocking chair win, but it does build. It's carry the building, my friend.
It looks like Villa are going to be home and hosed.
Well, they've scored 4-2, Villa, yeah, 4-2. And I think does that mean to the Bet Rivers House special and over 65? Troy, was that? I think it was like
the line was 65.
I think that makes it 65 goals. I think, or 64.
65. I'm looking now.
Arsenal missed
a penalty. Arsenal missed a penalty. So over 3.5 back is not happy there. Where was the house special? I'm trying to find the line. It was 65.5. Are we at 65 now?
I think it's 65. I mean, it may be 64 because Liverpool. Arsenal missed it. Yeah, I think it's 64 because Arsenal would have made it 65. Penalty. That would have made it 65. I think 64.
There is plus
this
7
is where
minutes.
It's wrong. I think it's where it's wrong here, where these matches all kicking off the wrong time.
They should have staggered it a lot. Yeah.
Let's have a look. What have we got now? We've got Arsenal missed a bit. Yeah, so the Sporting Lisbon still 1-1. That's okay. So all eyes for Villa fans are at the Camp Nou, where Barcelona 2-2. If that match finishes 2-2, then pretty much, that's it. I mean, all the other matches now are there's nothing at stake apart from that match there. So that the final spot in the Champions League is between Aston Villa and Atalanta, who takes it. So we'll have to wait and see. So where we stand now: Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal, Inter, Athletic Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Lille, and Aston Villa are the 8 teams through. 3 teams from England through in the 8. We've got 2 from Spain, 1 Italian, and 1 French side. And
I did catch
Paris
one
Saint-Germain.
Juventus Benfica under 2.5. So I got one of them. And I think it should have been 2. The Inter 3. There is plus 6 added on, I think, Coach Zanko. Surprisingly.
In what game?
But yeah, Monaco haven't had a shot on target in that game. Hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, I mean, just get that. Then that was our
Inter defense. How about that Inter defense, Nigel?
Incredible.
Like, seriously, are they a contender to win this competition?
I think I spoke to you when we sort of the beginning, and I said Inter Milan and Athletic Madrid were the 2 sides that I thought were the value on the competition. I mean, the thing is now, I mean, Real Madrid are coming strong just at the right time, aren't they? Paris Saint-Germain coming strong just at the right time. The cream, you could say that Man City have come in with a bit of form behind them. I mean, it's going to be a really intriguing tournament. But I do think the gap between that sort of middle section and the top sides, like the Paris Saint-Germain's, the Atletico Madrid, and Inter, isn't as big as what the gap it's suggesting in terms of the future betting.
Yeah, I think. Well, what we're going to be able to do now for the first time ever, I think we've got like draw brackets like tennis, haven't we?
Yeah.
All the way to the final. So we can have a really good look at it. And, that just changes the whole dimensions of the Champions League.
So Villa have done their bit. They're 4-2. Fans will be listening. Do people listen to transistor radios anymore at football grounds? But I think they'll be on mobile phones now listening to the Barcelona. Villa fans will be looking to see what happens at Barcelona. So really, the whole evening, the last spot is going into Barcelona v Atalanta. And did you say we've got some extra time? How many minutes have we got?
Well, plus 5 with that was added. We've had 5 now, but
there
was a bloke who went off on a stretcher about 91, and that took probably 5 minutes. So I reckon another 5 might be added. Barcelona nearly scored, actually.
Right.
But Barcelona look pretty happy with a point. They're time wasting over a corner, actually. But I mean, at the minute, they nearly actually scored from the corner.
Well, we want this. We want this. Listen, I want English clubs to do well. I like Aston Villa as a club. I think Unai Emery's a brilliant manager, and I'd like to see them get to the knockout stages. Not only for that, I also done it because we bet the draw here. So it's probably a good time now to give the recap of the results if we can get the final whistle in the Inter game open. That's not over yet. I thought we had that one in the bag.
Still 3-0.
So my losing bets, the under a half a goal in the Red Star Belgrade has been done by 1 goal. probably should I said probably go greedy. I probably shouldn't have done the 1.5. The over 8.5 corners in the Man City game has lost. And then my double play is under 4 and under 3.5 in the intermatch, which is 3-0 going into the 97 minutes. And that's how big that will. If a goal there goes in, we have a losing night. If it stays like that, we win. And we've got a nice play on the draw in that Atalanta match at 2.55. So Dan Roebuck will get one of his draws, and it was the match that we said would be a draw. So we've got the
He's got a draw. Sporting Bologna is a draw. 1-1.
He's got the draw. He's got one. He's got 2.
He's got one in the bag, and that was a winner for me. Over 1.5 goals. I had a winner with Leverkusen corners first half. Push on the -1 pre-game. Won with under 2.5 in the Juventus match. Lost with the last kick of the game in the Salzburg under. And then won with Man City, Club Brugge over 3.25, and the Zagreb one is live. It looks like Milan are going to go down here to defeat. There's still a minute left, but a bit surprised.
Why is it? The other thing I've found that over the years when you're betting is that, like, all the matches finish, and the one that you're sweating on is always like the last one to go. The one that
it's over into 3.
Into 3-0. That's a good cash. Neil's pumping the air with joy. He's happy about that one. That was a good result in the Channing House today. So we can eat tomorrow. We can eat tomorrow. Inter Milan under. We got the money there. And Barcelona Atalanta has finished 2-2. So that's a massive result for Aston Villa. Aston Villa have qualified.
Well, I've no idea how this is. This should have been more. Who's the referee here? This should have been way more time added on. I can't believe this. This is terrible timekeeping. Whoever's in charge of this game.
What game are you on about?
The Barcelona game.
It's finished.
I can't believe
it's 2-2.
I can't believe he blew up. I thought there was way more that needed to be added.
It's good to. We're on the draw, Steve.
Who is this referee?
He's brilliant.
He's shocking referee, whoever he is.
Brilliant. He's brilliant. All right. So we got the draw. So tonight, the draw, cash plus 250, plus 255. Under Inter Milan cash, under 3.5 cash, over 8.5 goals lost, under half a goal in Red Star Belgrade cashed. Total goals come in at 64. I think there's only going to be a couple more goals. And the teams qualifying for the last day of the Champions League: Liverpool, Barcelona, Arsenal, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Lille, and Aston Villa make the final 8.
Michael Oliver was the referee.
Oh, I knew it'd be someone. I knew it'd be him. I knew it would be him.
Yeah,
I think people were saying to. I think you want basically. I'm going to go there with this gag here. I just thought of this gag. You wanted longer minutes, and you wanted to say to Oliver,
"No, I didn't want longer minutes.
Please, sir, can I have some more?" Is that me? Anyway, I'm here.
We got a table.
Look at this.
He's done it
on the table. Look at this.
He's gone and done it.
He's got the live table up. He's got all the scores wrong on the bottom, but he's got the live table up. Well done. Unbelievable.
So the playoff round is Club Brugge are the last team in. Interesting. I wonder what the matchups are exactly in that. Will it be at Atalanta Club Brugge then?
I don't know. I don't think it is. I think someone said
Sporting, Real Madrid. Will it be Real Madrid, Man City?
No, they said it's a draw. No, if it went like the 9-24-10, it would be Real Madrid v Man City, wouldn't it? Dortmund would play Sporting, but I think it is a. I think it is. I think it goes into a draw. But anyway, it's been a long night, mate. 2.5 hours we've been on here.
Yeah.
This is my third podcast of the day. I've got to get up early in the morning and work with Dan Roebuck doing the Premier League show. I've got tennis tomorrow on Neil Channing, and we've got a nice restaurant booked in the evening in Montpellier. So I need to get some sleep urgently. I was up at 3:30 in the morning getting a plane out here as well. So I'm absolutely shattered, mate. So it's been a great night. Hopefully you've cashed it. Hopefully you've made some profit. I think if you bet the picks we've said here, you would have made profit on the night. Hopefully you've enjoyed this podcast. I know it's been quite long, 2.5 hours. It's longer than Gladiator 2. This has been, but anyway, it's been 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was an interesting night, Nigel. And I've got to think about this hot dog now. So
keep it. Yeah, keep it. I think you're right. I think you're right.
Well, one of the reasons for it is the scheduling. They've had so many games recently, tired and all that. Well, they're not showing any sign of that tonight, have they?
I think you've got to keep it, because that 6-1 effort for a club like that celebrating. I think you might, and they've probably given so much to that match. So I think the idea of fading them is the right thing to do. I think if the market reacts, then you might get a better price. So I think you're right to fade Lille after that result.
All right. Well, thank you everyone who did join. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're back tomorrow. Betting Week Live at a normal time of 11 a.m. Eastern. Me and James Easton are in the house. And we'll have a line on every single game. Every single game we'll have a line on, just like we did on the Conference League final round there. Europa League's going to be even more intense, by the way, tomorrow evening. There's loads at stake. But yeah, take care, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live. Goodbye.